ABC News with Mary McDonald. Good afternoon. An urgent warning has been issued for Victorians as wild weather moves across the state, bringing damaging winds and thunderstorms. Yvette Gray reports.
A severe weather warning for damaging winds has been issued for the state's northeast, central and eastern districts. In Melbourne, authorities are concerned severe thunderstorms and destructive wind gusts of more than 125 kilometres per hour will sweep through this afternoon, potentially bringing down trees and power lines. There's also the possibility of large hail and heavy rainfall. SES State Duty Officer Andrew Fagan says people need to take extreme care.
Things are building where we could actually see a potentially nasty day this afternoon.
He warns there is a chance all of Victoria will experience thunderstorms, which will be fast moving.
The Premier has defended the way the government is handling its major infrastructure projects after it was revealed that it was warned 2 years ago about potential cost blowouts. The state opposition has obtained Freedom of Information documents that show in 2022, Office of Projects Victoria told Treasurer Tim Pallas it had identified expected skills shortages, material price increases and the impact on the broader economy. Premier Jacinta Allen says the government is all about getting on and delivering the much-needed projects.
From time to time, there will be changed circumstances that will absolutely add some challenges to project delivery. Now, the approach we take to project delivery is to get on, address the challenges and get on and deliver those projects.
NDIS Minister Bill Shorten has defended changes to rein in the scheme's growth by billions of dollars, rejecting claims they amount to a funding cut. Stephanie Dalzell reports.
Legislation passed this week will aim to curb the scheme's growth by $14 billion over 4 years, with a range of changes including enabling new powers to investigate fraud and more closely defining what can be funded under the scheme. Growth has already slowed and was $600 million below the budget estimate for last financial year, and NDIS Minister Bill Shorten says the next update might show further savings.
We're eliminating some of that bloated waste.
The Greens and some disability advocates say the changes amount to cuts.
2 astronauts stranded on the International Space Station won't be able to return to Earth until February next year. Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams were meant to spend 8 days on the ISS as part of a test flight for Boeing's Starliner spacecraft. But problems with the Starliner mean it's not safe for them to return in the capsule and will instead return to Earth on a SpaceX Crew Dragon. NASA's Associate Administrator Jim Free says they won't be risking the lives of the 2 astronauts.
Our focus is on safety all the time, and this certainly is no different. We'll learn from this effort so that our crews, who are at the top of the pyramid on these missions, and their families can continue to know we've done that and we'll always do our best.
To sport, and the AFL's top 8 is set to be decided today, with spots still up for grabs on the final day of the home and away season. The order of the top 4 is yet to be decided, with Port Adelaide and Greater Western Sydney eyeing second. The Western Bulldogs will look to lock in a place in September when they face the Giants and Ballarat. Carlton will look to do the same against St Kilda at Docklands, and the Power can keep Fremantle out of the finals picture with victory at Perth Stadium. Australia's para-archery team is hopeful of breaking a long-standing gold medal drought at the upcoming Paralympics Games in Paris. Australia has won just 3 gold medals in archery at the Paralympic Games, one in 1960 and 2 in 1968. Jonathan Milne's bronze medal at the Rio Games in 2016 remains the nation's only podium result in 4 decades. Milne says getting gold at what will be his 3rd Games is on the bucket list.
The first one was just winning a Paralympic medal. Winning a World Championships medal was another one, and I've done that. Winning a medal at an able-bodied World Championships, I did that earlier this year in Korea. So getting into a gold medal match and actually winning that would be the next step on the list of things to do.
To the weather now. There's a severe weather warning for damaging winds for parts of East Gippsland, the northeast, west and south Gippsland, central and north central districts. For the state, cloud increasing with scattered showers extending from the west, isolated thunderstorms in the northwest, moving through the rest of the state during the afternoon and evening. Thunderstorms are likely to produce destructive wind gusts, large hail and or heavy rainfall through central Victoria. For Melbourne, a very high chance of showers developing during the afternoon and evening. The chance of a thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening, possibly severe with destructive winds, large hail and local heavy rainfall, with a top today of 23 degrees. Tomorrow a possible shower, 18. Tuesday becoming windy and partly cloudy, 20. Right now in Melbourne it's 21 degrees. ABC News.
Hey Google, play the footy on the ABC.
Did you know you can now listen to the footy on your smart speaker?
Oh, that is amazing!
Play ABC AFL.
Time to steady and pull the trigger.
Get the best call, the biggest experts in the game, every round of the AFL season.
Can he bend it back? You bet he can.
On your favourite station, ABC Radio. Your home for footy. Now on your smart speaker.
ABC Sport.
This is AFL Sunday with Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling. AFL Sunday on radio.
ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And take us with you on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
It all comes down to the final day of the home and away season in 2024 with a final spot and position still to be decided. The Red Hot Hawks Hawthorn secure their return to September for the first time in 6 years with a 124-point victory over North Melbourne in Tassie.
Hawthorn by 118 points. There's the siren. Hawks will play finals. Marby or Chol to make it 124 from about 40 metres out. Difficult angle. Laconically goes back and says, there you go, Tasmania.
As Stengel floats a hand pass inside 50 for the Cats. Myers clever. Hooks it inboard to Cameron, who marks right on cue. Cameron, who hooks it through for number 9. An equal career high for Jeremy Cameron.
Jeremy Cameron steals the show as Geelong lock away a top 4 finish with a 93-point annihilation of the West Coast Eagles, while Brisbane lock in 5th spot on the ladder despite some wayward kicking against the Bombers.
Ashcroft's kick is smothered but straight to Rayner. Hands it to Danaher. He'll kick this one. 60 out, left half forward. Yep. Joe with his 200 gives us the experience in a matter of 60 seconds. He is mocked by his teammates. Everybody, forget the set shot. We'll just kick one on the run from 60 in your 200.
Sydney finding form at the right time, heading towards finals without Isaac Heaney in a 31-point win over the Crows to secure the minor premiership for the first time since 2016.
After plenty of slow starts this year, the Swans have been near critical time at home. The minor premiership is theirs. It's a coronation for the team that has been on top since round 8. The Swans passed their final assignment and beat the Crows by 31 points.
Hi everyone, Matt Clinch with you for ABC Sport, a rapid fire show as we head to Ballarat for the first match at 12:30 today. The other winners, the Gold Coast Suns, by 28 points over the Tigers in an emotional farewell for Dustin Martin, Dylan Grimes and Marlon Pickett, and Collingwood 46-point winners over Melbourne in a 60-minute final quarter back on Friday night. Today, the final 3 matches to shape the top 8, the Western Bulldogs and the Giants in Ballarat. If the Bulldogs win, their finals place will be locked in. They can finish no higher than 6th. If the Giants win, they'll be in a race for the top 3. And then if Port lose to Fremantle, the Bulldogs will miss finals. St Kilda and Carlton from Docklands, if the Blues win, they are in. They can finish no higher than 7th. If the Saints win, then all of a sudden Carlton spots on the line if Fremantle beat Port Adelaide. And Fremantle and Port Adelaide, the final match of the weekend's footy. If the Dockers win, they'll play the finals if either the Western Bulldogs or the Blues lose. If the Power win, they can nudge towards a top 3 finish. Each Sunday we try and wrap it up and make sense of it. 3-time premiership player, premiership captain, Geelong legend Cameron Ling, welcome to you. Does that all make sense?
Makes perfect sense, Clinchy. You've done that beautifully there. I know everybody's got their ladder predictors out, their calculators out, the lot. I know there were a lot of people at Cardinia Park yesterday when the Cats were up by 100 points, quickly diving for their phones and seeing what impact that was potentially going to have. But, of course, it comes down to results today from the Port Adelaide game and the Giants game as to whether or not the Cats finish 2nd, 3rd or 4th. What a brilliant finish to a wonderful season, a fantastic season. The Swans have deserved their minor premiership. I know they had their little issues and still can't believe how they got belted by Port Adelaide like they did. But they deserve to finish on top of the ladder. They're a terrific team, set their season up beautifully. I still suspect they went through a hard block of training that maybe just backfired on them a little bit more than they expected, but they'll be primed and ready to launch into a huge September. We've got quality teams, quality players everywhere, and we've got this thrilling finish. So it's everything that we want in a season, absolutely everything we want. We love to start on a Sunday. I know a quick fire Sunday for us, Clinchy, with our highlights. I've got to go to yesterday. I was sitting there at Cardinia Park in the sunshine, the 1:45 start. Thank you very much. That is beautiful when the spring weather is with us with 3 kids who just want to kick the footy on the oval after the game for a couple of hours. But the joy and the love for Zach Toohey, who announced during the week that he was going to retire at season's end. Every time he picked up the footy, there was a cheer. And we had that beautiful moment where he kicked the goal, and the song, I had to look it up, Clinchy, Rattlin' Bog, the Irish song playing after, and everybody clapping their hands. And Zach Toohey did the little love heart, I think Taylor Swift sort of style symbol to the crowd, sending out his love. There was so much joy for the wonderful Irishman. He brings a smile to so many Cats fans' faces.
Here was the moment Lingy was describing.
Clumsy over the top, Chera. He knocks it down, and Zach Toohey gets his moment as he takes the advantage and hooks it through for a goal. And every Geelong person in the house is up on their feet to pay tribute to the great Irishman, Zach Toohey. And now everyone gets a chance to join in the jig. He makes a love heart with his hands towards the Geelong faithful and his family and friends.
So there you go. As you summed up, Lingy, the perfect emotion for a fitting farewell in front of the home fans at the Cattery. And Zach Toohey, I'm sure he won't be lost to the game. It was great to hear him on the ABC AFL Daily Podcast with Catherine Murphy and Paul Roos. I think he's still got a couple of chapters to be written in his post-career, and I guess the legacy he leaves in being such a crucial figure alongside Jim Steins. He's obviously teammate Mark O'Connor at Geelong, but that pathway for not only AFL men's but AFL women's players to come out and play our great game.
Absolutely right, Clinchy. I mean, I can't imagine it. I had to move 5 minutes down the road to chase my dream. He moved halfway across the world. Superb, as others have done and others continue to do across both the men's and women's game. You've said it perfectly, Clinchy. It feels like a little theme of goodbyes for our highlights. What was yours?
Yeah, it does. For me at the MCG yesterday, there wasn't a lot to play for two sides whose season was over, the Gold Coast Suns and Richmond, and all the intrigue post-game was would Dustin Martin speak. And I think at the end, even though he was a little reluctant, I think everyone was happy to hear him say these words.
Yeah, pretty emotional and just it's pretty surreal. It feels a little bit weird. I think after today it'll probably really sink in. As everyone knows, I love the club so much. I love you all so much. I'm going to miss the place so much. Just so grateful to be a Tiger.
So he's a mysterious figure, isn't he, in our time, Dustin Martin. We've revelled at what he's been able to do on field, the three-time Norm Smith medalist. But to hear him speak like that, the tears as he's made his way from the MCG race, we may never get a true insight into Dustin Martin, the person, but we know what footy means to him and how much he's enjoyed the ride, and haven't we enjoyed watching him. So in a Saturday afternoon, the final one at the MCG for the home and away season, where there wasn't a lot to play for, Lingy, that certainly brought a smile to a lot of Richmond fans who stayed to the bitter end. And Dylan Grimes, Marlon Pickett, Brendan Gale, Sam Naismith. There was quite a few who said their farewell, and a couple who might have to still decide with a nod or a wink as to where they're going next season.
Yeah, it's a good call, Clinchy. What a ride it's been for Richmond fans. They suffered so much for so long, and time down the bottom of the ladder, and then they were called... the teasing about the finishing ninth every single year and all that. And then a group of players led by that man, Dusty Martin, just came and gave such glorious success to that club. Three premierships. We throw around words like legends and champions and things like that. Probably too much. Genuine superstars, all that. Maybe a little bit too frivolously. Dusty Martin is truly all of those. He is one of the greatest to ever play the game. And moments that mattered, he was always there. And I know it was against my old club plenty of times, unfortunately, in prelim finals and a grand final as well. But you can't help but admire and just respect and love the way he played the game. He cared about the big moments in the big games. He didn't fluff around getting easy touches and, just getting one or two little possessions here and there. It was about impact. It was about moments, and he deserved that send-off as one of the truly greatest players to play the game.
Certainly. He's a walk-up Hall of Famer in the Australian Football Hall of Fame. Matt Clinch and Cameron Ling with you for AFL Sunday on ABC Sport. So rapid fire, given we're only on air for another 15 minutes, and then we'll cross you to Ballarat. And the breaking news coming through is that the Giants have swung a whole heap of late changes. So 3 changes for their match in Ballarat. Brett Daniels will miss through a lower back injury. Toby Bedford has suffered a calf complaint, so he won't play. And 13-gamer Connor Stone will also miss through illness. So Nick Haynes, Xavier O'Halloran and Callum Brown come in, with Brown to be the sub for the Giants. And the Dogs have made no late change with Artie Jones their sub. What impact does that have on your prediction between the Giants and the Bulldogs?
Yeah, good question. Brent Daniels is the huge one for me, and Bedford as well, I must admit. You could just, his impact of being able to close down an opposition midfielder, a dangerous one, and of course the Dogs have got a couple of those. But Daniels has been superb. He's been the connector between high half forward, inside 50, drifting into the mid for little pinch hits. He's been superb with his ball use, with his high impact. So, yeah, they're two big outs, massive outs. I rate the Giants incredibly highly, though, Clinchy. I think they are the biggest threat to the Sydney Swans. They've got talent everywhere. They've got some good size. They've got experience. They've got good leaders. They've got speed of ball use. They've got everything you need put together to win a premiership, and they've got the experience of last year to possibly drive them a little bit more. So I rate them incredibly highly. But that's going to be tough in Ballarat. The Doggies play it pretty well there, and they've got a lot on the line as well. That's going to be a ripping game of footy, and those two outs are big for the Giants.
It certainly is. We'll take you there in 15 minutes' time and join our commentary team for the match between the Bulldogs and GWS. Ben Cameron, Joel Peterson, Nathan Burke and Matthew Primus. I did wonder, Lingy, just the insights of the clubs who are waiting to find out their fate as to who they'll play and what it might mean. Errol Goulden joined our commentary team post-game. Poppy Penny posed the question to him as to how he'll be spending this Sunday.
Tomorrow, the games impact who you might play in round one of the finals. What are you like? Are you a footy watcher, or are you going to ignore it and just find out what the results are at the end of the day?
To be honest, I'm climbing the Harbour Bridge tomorrow with my girlfriend, so I'm pretty keen to do that. That's what I'm looking forward to.
It's climbing the Harbour Bridge, Lingy. I mean, that's an iconic landmark in Australia, but why this Sunday?
Well, the waiting list is probably pretty long, Clinchy. You've got to take whatever day you can get.
That's true. What would you be like? Would you want to know? Would you watch the footy? How would you consume it?
No, it's funny. I love footy, and now that since retiring, I consume footy left, right, and centre. But as a player, I was like Errol. I would have done something else. I loved my surfing, especially when I was a player, and my body could work a little bit better. I would have gone for a surf. I just would have, tell me the result, tell me who we're playing at the end of it all. I don't need to sit through the ups and downs of it. Tell me who we're playing, and then I'll start dissecting them and looking at who I might be playing on, what we need to break down, talk to the coaches. I wouldn't have watched the 3 games. Whereas today, now, as a retired player, I will be watching every second of these games.
If you want to join us on the SMS 0437 774 774, we'll bring some of your thoughts in just a moment's time. It feels like the biggest result, Lingy, of the weekend was Hawthorn, who will play finals for the first time in 6 years. But not just that, they beat North Melbourne by 124 points, and they're now starting to reel up some big numbers against the opposition. 7th before the final round of the home and away season. They had to beat, obviously, North Melbourne to secure their spot. The match was brought forward due to the uncertainty around power supply, given the industrial dispute taking place, and they did it in style, with Dylan Moore kicking 4 goals, Nick Watson, Connor McDonald and Marbiel Chol kicking 3 each. So this is a side who were winless in the opening 5 rounds of the season, but has surged into finals for the first time since 2018, winning 14 of their past 18 games. Massimo D'Ambrosio made his transition from the Bombers to the Hawks. He tried to sum up their transformation.
Oh, the biggest change, as I said before, probably the standards at training, which is reflecting on our game day performance. But also I feel like we're working together and we have that real balance of when to have fun but also be serious. And at training we're really, really serious and have that tough love, which has been critical. I feel like no one takes criticism in a bad way, and we're always here to learn and get better. And I feel like everyone's been great with that. And we've just... At the end of the day, we're not going to have the coaches out on the field, so we need to be able to lead ourselves and lead each other out there. So I feel like that's been our biggest improvement, and hopefully we can just keep getting better.
Such a ride for Hawthorn fans. Somewhat unexpected, but how big of a threat are they, Lingy, given they are playing some of the best form of anyone at this stage of the season?
Oh, they're a huge threat, Clinchy. Massive threat. They haven't just... they haven't just fluked a few games and got on a little bit of a roll and snuck in there and think, they're going to get destroyed in the first elimination final. No, they're playing the best, possibly the best football out of everyone right now over an extended period of time. I think they're number 1 in attack, number 1 in inside 50s, number 1. Go through all really key category statistics, and they are number 1 over that period. They are playing brilliant football. Also, add on, they have put some other clubs to shame on how to rebuild and transition a list very, very quickly. They made some brave calls with Jager O'Meara and Tom Mitchell could have kept playing in that midfield and been really good, solid players. They're good footballers. Tom Mitchell's a Brownlow medalist and could have continued to play there. Instead, they said, no, let's be prepared to maybe sacrifice a little bit in the short term to get games into Warple and Newcomb and Will Day in important roles in the middle of the ground, because it's going to set us up quickly for a quick turnaround. And now we're seeing the fruits of that. They are sensational. There's no way I thought they were going to be this good. I thought after watching them last year, they'll continue to improve and they could knock on the door of the top 8, maybe fall a little bit short. But now the football they are playing, I know they're going to finish in that bottom section of the top 8, but the football they're playing isn't bottom of the top 8 type form. It is top 4 form right now. They could go on the most improbable, crazy, ridiculous run. I wouldn't rule them out. No. Now, they could have one bad one and they're done. That's what happens when you finish 5th to 8th. But it doesn't feel like that, Clinchy. They are sensational, and that was a smashing, and that was not good for North, who were coming from the same point a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, where they were finishing roughly on the ladder. And they are light years ahead, the Hawks, right now of North Melbourne.
On the SMS 0437 774 774. Giant from Canberra. Hopefully we lose by 10 points. No injuries. Finished 4th. And then the Battle of the Bridge qualifying final. That's a step ahead of all of us. Bomber fan here, Simon from Largs Bay. Thank God it's over. Our ball use in our back half seems poor. D'Ambrosio was let go. He's one who can actually use the ball. Gibbo says it keeps happening. We see injuries which take place during a match. It's time to get rid of the sub and just have everyone on the bench. Peter in Balaclava. Ben Mackay is the highest paid player in the league. Is this keeping him in the side, given his form from the middle part of the season has been pretty poor? And Brennan from Hobart says, Tom Lynch to the Pies. Okay, a few different thoughts coming through on 0437 774 774. The Kangas finished the year with, 3 wins for the season. So 15 wins over 5 years. It's hard to work out how much progress they are making. Jeremy Cameron put at 9 goals in Geelong's win over the West Coast Eagles at 93 points. Calling the game at the MCG Link, I just kept looking at the monitor and it was 100 points at half time, and I thought, wow, they're going to jump to second on the ladder. Are they peaking at the right time? And the concern was the injuries to Tom Stewart, hamstring tightness, and Lawson Humphreys also set out the second half with a right calf injury. But Chris Scott has reassured the fans that he expects both should be right for a fortnight's time.
Yeah, it was a good tune-up, a really good tune-up by the Cats. Are they peaking at the right time? If you took the last 4 weeks, Clinchy, and you gave me 3.5 games of those 4 games, I would say, yeah, that win in Fremantle, outstanding. They beat the Crows as well, who were in pretty good form at that stage of the career. Did what they had to do against West Coast. Terrific in the first half against the Saints. But then I've got the second half of the St Kilda game nagging in my brain as well, where it was not pretty. The Saints destroyed them. So, yeah, I think they're in a good position, the Cats. They're like a lot of other teams. They're playing some good football, but there's no clear super standout. It's going to be a really even final series. Health-wise, I think all the talk was that Tom Stewart was very much precautionary. He's had a big load. He's played midfield, a block of midfield in the second half of the year, which he hasn't done at any stage in his career, so take the opportunity to rest him. Lawson Humphreys it sounded like he'll be okay. It was a little bit precautionary, but there was some awareness there. I think the second half was a little bit of a case of, hey, we've done enough. We know we want to keep piling on the goals, but it's hard to keep going and win by 200 points or anything like that. So you can forgive them for the second half not being perfect. I think most of the crowd yesterday, Clinchy, just wanted the ball kicked to Jeremy Cameron in the last quarter so he could kick his 10th. That's what everyone was cheering for, but wasn't to be. It was a good final game, but now for the Cats, they put themselves in a position to contend. And the big stuff starts in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, he pinched that goal from Ollie Dempsey, which was intended for him. And, that's what we want to see in the final round. The old school full forwards trying to kick a bag and teammates looking for him. I feel like Collingwood had that idea with Nick Dacos. The West Coast Eagles showed some fight in the second half, but it'll be interesting to see whether Jared Schofield's name is still mentioned with their senior coaching gig. What do we make of the Brisbane Lions' 20-point win over the Bombers? It's a 6th finals campaign under Chris Fagan. A bit inaccurate in front of goal, and I guess they were able to do what they had Adelaide to do, which is hopefully secure a elimination final, but it's not quite the top 4 position where we thought they might be a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it's been a strange little drift off by the Lions, hasn't it, Clinchy? I had them right there. You know, talk about me saying before that the Giants and the Swans appear maybe as the best two, and Port Adelaide could argue they should be in that conversation as well. But 4 weeks ago, it was Brisbane who would be in that group. But then they've just tailed off. That loss to Collingwood was a bit of a head scratcher. Well done to the Pies, but you think Brisbane shouldn't drop that one. And then last night's game was good and solid and everything you sort of need to do, but it wasn't super convincing. The one thing I do know is they've got finals experience. They've got a great list. They'll be hungry after what happened last year. So they're there as a big threat, but it wasn't super convincing last night. I think what we also saw was Lachie Neale just saying, hang on, Nick Dacos, you don't just have the Brownlow medal wrapped up. I'll have another 3 votes in my last game of the year, just in case I'm a chance to win my 3rd Brownlow. So Lachie Neale, when he needed to, he made sure that game was finished. He just got himself off the bench and said, righto, well, enough of this nonsense, boys. Let's win. Yeah. He's a wonderful footballer.
Pete is providing a weather update for us on 0437 774 774. Blowing a dog off a chain down here. So might be some tricky conditions this afternoon for the Western Bulldogs and the Giants. Each Sunday we close our program with Lingy's last word. Where's he going with so much on offer?
Ladies and gentlemen, we now have much pleasure in inviting 1963 Geelong Premiership player Doug Wade to present the Premiership Cup to Cameron Ling and the Geelong Football Club.
Dane Swan, toughest opponent. Probably Cameron Ling. Ben Cousins, toughest opponent. Cameron Ling.
Thanks, boys. It feels like the last words come around quickly. A bit of a shorter one today, Clinchy, but I'm going to go straight to the Blues. Now, Blues
not
fans,
again. Not
Blues
again.
Fans, I got you the win last week over there, undermanned, gave you the big pump up, and they get that all-important win. You know what? I might anger them a little bit here, Clinchy. Be careful, Blues fans. The Saints, the way they played against the Cats last week in that second half was scintillating football. I think the Saints are going to knock off the Blues, Clinchy. I think for all that joy of last week and that great win over in Perth for Carlton, I think they're going to go down to the Saints.
I kind of agree with you. I'm a little fearful for Carlton fans if David Copperfield does the same trick twice. Does everyone know what to expect? And after playing with their makeshift forward line last week, there's no Charlie Kerner, there's no Harry Mackay. Can Patrick Cripps take the Blues on his shoulders once more and lead them into finals? It would be an incredible effort. And yet I feel like, having watched St Kilda like you last week, that second half against the Cats, I feel like they're actually playing their best footy of the season, bizarrely, at the end.
If the Blues can't slow down Wanganeen Miller and Sinclair and all these running players, Darcy Wilson, all of them, the Saints will light them up. You're right, and Cripps is so special and so incredible that you think, he'll find something, and Sam Walsh will find something, and they'll get him there. But
I don't think he'll get to run around by himself, though. I imagine it'll be slightly different to what he had against the Eagles the week before. So whether it's Liam Stocker or Jack Steele, I think he'll have someone alongside him right from the opening bounce. So beat Ross Lyon, beat the Saints, and you're into finals, Blues fans, but it might be an edge of your seat sort of afternoon. What about the final match of the weekend's footy, Fremantle and Port Adelaide? What are you sensing there?
I'm sensing a Freo win. They just have to. Their fall over the last few weeks on your home deck, playing against Port, who've lost Dan Houston now, you got to find something. That has been a huge fall from Freo. We were talking top 2, top 4 maybe a month ago, Clinchy. You got to find it. Home ground, finish the season, get yourself in there. I think Freo can get that win.
Yeah, I'm Port Adelaide. I'm off the Dockers after their loss to the Bombers. That was such a disappointing result given they had the game on their boot. So we shall see. So we both think St Kilda. You think Fremantle. I think Port Adelaide. And the Giants and the Bulldogs. Your Giants?
I am Giants, yeah. I just believe too strongly in them. Are you the Doggies?
I want to believe in the Dogs. I want to believe. Okay, I'm with the Dogs. Why not? Let's get on board. I'm not 100% convinced, but hey, who is in this final Sunday of the AFL home and away season? Thanks, Lingy. We'll get a bit more time next week and we can expand on it all. We'll know our finalists for the 2024 season.
Thanks, Clinchy. Have a great Sunday afternoon of footy.
Let's take you to Ballarat. We join our commentary team, Ben Cameron, Joel Peterson, Nathan Burke and Matthew Primus. The final Sunday of the home and away season. It gets underway next on ABC Sport.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL Premiership season.
AFL. On your radio.
On digital. And take us with you on the ABC Listener.
Look for the AFL button.
It's a September shaping Sunday, 9 hours of unmissable drama, and it starts with the Bulldogs and the Giants. It's the Great Western at high noon in Ballarat. It will be a win worth its weight in gold for one of these two teams. Welcome to Ballarat. Great to have you with us for Sunday footy here on ABC Sport. The team news is that there are 3 late changes for GWS. So Toby Bedford, Connor Stone and Brent Daniels are all out. Nick Haynes, Xavier O'Halloran and Callum Brown, who is the sub, are all in. So all 3 emergencies are into the game. No late changes for the Western Bulldogs. Artie Jones, the sub, is the sub for the Western Bulldogs. Great to have you with us. Ben Cameron, Joel Peterson to call all of the action. And Australian Football Hall of Famer Nathan Burke is with us. And a dual All-Australian in Matt Primus. We barely have time for the niceties and the hellos down here in Ballarat. Let's quickly go down to the boundary and Ian Cohen, who is inside the fence today for ABC Sport. Koza.
Absolutely, Ben. Very good afternoon to you. Good afternoon to everyone. Conditions are really, really good here. The deck is looking absolutely fantastic. Jesse Hogan has just won the toss and the Giants will kick to the city end or the Ballarat end, the old scoreboard end. So the Bulldogs will be going to the Horsham end of Mars Stadium here. And there is, fair to say, a slight zephyr. It's like a 6-goal breeze going to that city end. It will blow the milk out of your tea, Ben. I would suggest today it is a huge breeze. The changes, as you said, there's been a lot of late changes, and Artie Jones in for game number 14. He's the sub, and also Callum Brown, the sub for GWS Giants. So all is in readiness. We're ready to roll, and as you said at the opener, this is going to be a huge day.
Yeah, there's so much that this will be a big story about the breeze. So different to conditions we traditionally play in, or these teams play in. The Western Bulldogs home ground, an indoor stadium, and we're out here with a 6 or 7 goal breeze. Very quickly, it's about the best we'll get. Nathan Burke, Matt Primus, which way are you tipping today?
Bulldogs have to win. Win and they're in. They've got a lot to play for.
Probably the Giants by a couple of goals.
So the Bulldogs playing for a spot in the 8 and a home final. GWS playing for a top 2 spot and all New South Wales top 2. It's the duel in Ballarat. You're with Joel Peterson.
It all comes down to this on a Super Sunday in this 2024 AFL season. First clearance to the Dogs. Treloar kicking back into the teeth of the wind. And Perriman's able to take it at true centre-half back. He launches it on the zephyr down the other way. Kicks it 70 metres inside the 50. Cadman's out the back. He's slammed into the turf by Jones and gets a free.
He had one arm pinged and pulled him down into the ground. Umpire has gone, that is a dangerous tackle. The good news is that Cadman's got up and there's no injury there to him at all, because we know that if he did wobble up a little bit, it might be dicey for Liam Jones.
It might be more that we see of that incident. Meanwhile, Cadman's going to have a set shot from 40 metres out. Man who played his under-18 footy here from just down the road in Darley. For the first of the game, his left foot kick is there. It's a dream start for the Giants, who come in undermanned, but have got the first goal on the board. 1 straight to the Dogs yet to score through a minute here in Ballarat.
Yeah, a bit of energy early, Berkey, first couple of minutes, and he wanted to lay that tackle and set the scene, but unfortunately with the arm pinned, they're always going to be a free kick. And look, he's been in really good form the last month. I saw him a couple of weeks ago against Brisbane, and he was really good in the air. It's going to be a difficult day for all the tools with these conditions here, but a terrific start and a beautiful finish.
Yeah, really obvious play from that. They took the mark at centre-half back virtually and just wheeled and went bang. It was a good 70-metre kick inside their forward line. So if you're kicking with a breeze, you don't want to be mucking around with it. You've got to get it down there as quickly as you can, and that's what the Giants did.
So GWS kicking with the breeze to the scoreboard end in this opening term, a 6 or 7 goal breeze. There's also an electrical storm forecast for about 2 p.m. Bontempelli out of the middle. His high kick sits up in the breeze, launching at it. Darcy can't take the mark. Hugo Hagen-Roves gets it on the boot. The breeze takes it away to the pocket. Bouncing ball, tumbling. Whitfield able to gather. Giants back with it. Handball toward the former Dog. He coughs it up. Liberatore. Handball to Waitman. Plays for the high free kick.
Got it.
And he'll get it. Umpire Williamson comes charging in, chest out. And says free kick to Cody Waitman, 30 metres out. Right forward pocket. He kicked 6 here in Ballarat back in round 2 against the Gold Coast Suns.
It's an art form now, isn't it? The ground balls and keep yourself low, and the tackle's got to be better. But geez, those small forwards are terrific at being able to create those head-high contacts.
Where does he have to aim this? Left hand behind post.
So it's probably going to go right to left if it's coming.
It's the better pocket to kick from.
Look at those goalposts shaking too in the wind.
They are swaying in the breeze. Waitman comes in, keeps it low, and finishes with class. A man who knows the conditions. The Bulldogs answer immediately. 1 straight 6 apiece through 3 minutes. And Cody Waitman, Ballarat's his backyard. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Nathan Burke, Matt Primus.
I was down here in round 2 when he kicked those 6, and I think he kicked like 4 in the first quarter. He just set them alight. It was amazing. But good signs for the Dogs is that they've won both centre clearances. And goals against this breeze, they're going to be like absolute hen's teeth at the moment. So that's a great start.
Yeah, you're exactly right. You think it's going to be hard to get the ball inside 50 and to score. And yeah, they've started really well. And the locals have certainly shown they know how to use these conditions well, haven't they? Both goals at the start.
So the breeze coming straight out of the north, which is the end to the left of your radio dial, to which the Dogs kick in the opening term. The Creswick end here at Eureka Stadium in Ballarat. Liberatore dives on the footy and shovels it out in the middle. Treloar's kick ricochets into Cornelio, bounces away to Richards for the Dogs, paddles it, and then Bramble paddles it defensively. Links up with O'Donnell, kicks down the line, Himmelberg. Able to pick it off, centre of the outer wing, plays on around Darcy, slipped the tackle, clever kick over the top, finds Tom Green.
Handball to the flying Finn. Finn Callaghan kicks the Giants inside 50. Toby Green drops the mark, tumbles to ground. Duray there for the Dogs, last line. Handball away to Bramble to lob, dangerous kick. Just finds Vandermeer, juggles it neatly, paid the mark. Might have played on. The fans are about 15 deep on the hill behind Vandermeer, who switches. Good kick. Finds Bailey Dale in the right back pocket. 1 straight 6 apiece. 0437 774 774 if you wish to get involved.
Dale's kick wide to Bailey Williams, playing game number 150 this afternoon for the Dogs. And he's got it on the old Brick Factory wing. Again, a massive throng of spectators filling that part of the ground. Darcy from the back of the pack, 2 hands to it, spills to Tom Green in front of it all. He can't take it cleanly. Tackle laid by Waitman. There's a free kick off the footy in the end after that, so the ball's ricocheted out, and it'll be Bailey Williams who'll take it right on that centre of the outer wing. So how far can he get this? How much purchase can he get? It holds up in the breeze at the edge of the 50, and Taylor's across to slap it out of play. And we'll have a throw in. Right half forward, Dogs into attack. 1 straight apiece, 5.5 gone opening term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
I think you guys are going to get used to calling on that far side today. So anyone who's going to that end will be creeping along the boundary. Just like that, get it out of bounds, get a stoppage, win that. Because if they come back through the middle, which is really dangerous.
Umpire flings it in, overshoots the ruckman now. It's the Orange Tsunami, chaining handballs. Finn Callaghan feeds one forward, getting back Bailey Dale for the Dogs. Can't pick it up, coming through Kelly for GWS. Liberatore, always tough, extracts it. Handball away to Caleb Daniel. Off to Fraser, now O'Donnell kicking around the wing onto the chest there of English. Can't take the mark. Green goes in, that's Tom Green for the Giants. Gives it back to Cornelio, who kicks around the wing and turns it over.
Cornelio, one of the couple out there in the long sleeves. O'Donnell, the lefty, sends a low kick up the line. Easy pickings for Briggs. Takes the mark, plays on, back into the corridor. Whitfield has it, lost it, dispossessed. Free kick to the Bulldogs. Good tackle from Treloar. They mucked that up with the hands that time, and then Treloar's kicked it with his sock. He's dribbled it inside the forward 50. Iden's up to meet it, 45 out from his defensive goal. Picked up by Bontempelli, just throws it on the boot while he lies on his back. Tumbles into the pocket. Darcy to Waitman along the boundary line, dribbling it through. No. Near side, one behind. Would have been a brilliant finish. Gives the Dogs a 1-point advantage through 7 minutes.
Interesting to keep an eye on the Giants. They love a handball game, but they're probably going to overdo it going with the wind here. 1 or 2 handballs and then kick it long might be the go in the first quarter.
Whitfield, heeds your advice, Matty Primus. Heaves it long up to the wing. Lob and Hogan former Dockers teammates. Lob spoils it down. Onto it, Jones there for the Giants. Handball errant. Loose footy on the wing. Caleb Daniel gathers it. Dogs back with it off to Bramble. Low ball towards half forward. Mark taken by Iden. Giants back in possession at centre half back. So just repeating, the Dogs playing for a spot in the 8 and a home final today. The Giants trying to get into the top 2.
And 3 late changes for the Giants, with Bedford, Daniels and Stone all out of the team. Here's Callan Ward. He would be a kick and a half from home usually. Might only be a good kick from home on this occasion. Puts it to full forward. Hogan paid the juggling mark at the top of the square. And the Coleman medalist-elect will go back from 15 metres out.
I'm not sure whether he had the first purchase. There was about 4 tall guys all standing there together with their hands in the air.
Looked like the line for the bar, Berkey, underneath the old scoreboard.
It did. I reckon his teammate probably got his hands on it first, bobbed it up in the air and came down with Jesse.
Share and share alike for Jesse Hogan. What a stellar season he's had for goal number 68 of the campaign. That familiar approach and a familiar result. Hogan with his first, hands the Giants back the lead. 2 straight to 1-1, 8.5 gone. Opening term, Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Your experts are Matthew Primus and Nathan Burke.
Yeah, just a really efficient start by the Giants. 2 inside 50s for 2 shots on goals, which is the way they operate. The Bulldogs have started really well with their clearance and contested possession work. Both teams are bringing really good heat, but I think the wind and trying to get some 1-on-1s, 2-on-2s as it was then. You're not going to have many contested marks today, Berkey, but that's certainly one for the Giants.
Yeah, we're disappointed without the Dogs because both goals, one was a free kick, probably unnecessary. That one should have been spoiled.
Yep.
You've got Lobb down there, you've got Jones down there, you've got O'Donnell down there. That ball should not have been marked by Jesse Hogan. So whilst they've got 2, the Dogs would be saying, yeah, we've probably given them 2.
Back in the middle, low bounce, that 68th goal of the campaign for Hogan. The highest mark ever achieved by a Giants player. Passes Jeremy Cameron with 67 previously as well. Free kick to the Giants. Out of the middle, Peatling with it. Just forward of the logo. Broadcast side of the ground, slightly protected by the grandstand. Stabs it short. Mark taken by Whitfield. Former number 1 draft pick back in 2012. Looks into the pocket. Cutting across, getting involved Bailey Dale. He'll win a free kick in the back pocket. Into the leading lane there of Cadman.
Not sure you want to be kicking the ball into the pockets there. Get it in a really dangerous spot and see what you can make from that.
So Dale assesses his options. Pokes it short to the edge of the defensive 50, and Richards is good enough to mark in front of Tom Green. Giants in their predominantly orange away strip with the white G and the white shorts. The Dogs blue shorts with the red and white bands across the centre of a royal blue jumper. Long kick up the lines, turned over. Peatling took it off the pack. Handball back to Whitfield, who shoots it back to the top of the defensive 50 for Haynes, who's one of the 3 late ins. Callum Brown is the sub, and Xavier O'Halloran for the Giants.
Kicks the red Sharon to Whitfield, who moves it out towards Kelly. He's actually red-green colourblind, Haynes, so struggles with the red footy as Kelly goes long inside 50 for the Giants. Bouncing ball, big Tim English. He recovers on the last line. Handball to O'Donnell to Dale. Dogs handballing in a triangle. The kick from English, a good one, relieves the pressure and finds Fraser. The boy from just up the road in Horsham gives it off to Bailey Dale.
Maybe a couple of hours up the road, Benny. Played a lot of his footy here in Ballarat, though, did Joel Fraser. Played with Aaron Cadman on opposite sides this afternoon. Williams has got it centre of the outer wing. Brick Factory side here at Eureka Stadium in Ballarat. Windy conditions, but glorious sunshine. Long kick up the line. Haynes scoops it up off the pack to Whitfield inside the defensive 50 to Buckley. And Buckley whips it out wide, kicks an absolute sack in front of O'Halloran, who's good enough to make something of it, turns infield, whacks it inside the 50. He's got some targets down there. Cadman, Lobb went past it, picking it up was Hogan, offloads to Toby Green. No, on the right boot, he leaves his snap a little bit shallow.
50. Free kick to O'Donnell.
And so Green having gone on with it, well spotted Berkey. It's going to be a free kick to James O'Donnell, who'll take it from inside the centre square.
I'm not positive what it was for. It was a short 50 too.
O'Donnell marched into the middle of the ground. Grew up a Saints fan because of his dad's playing career there. Drives it long inside 50. Punched away by Taylor for the Giants. Gallagher out after it. Frazier there too. Snaps around the corner. Dropping the mark. Taylor going in. Waitman goes in low. Wins it for the Dogs. Out to Richards. Norton spills it. Tom Green picks it up. GWS in possession. In their back pocket. Handball away from Perryman towards Tom Green again. He fumbles it out. Throwing coming. And a ball in right half forward here for the Dogs. So just repeating, there is a path to the finals for the Dogs if they lose, but they will need Carlton or Fremantle to lose if they do. So they'll be sitting, waiting, watching, wishing if they go down today.
Game subsequent to this, you can hear them all on the ABC Listen app, no matter where you are. Here on ABC Sport, free kick to the Dogs at half forward. Bontempelli, 60 metres out, drives a low kick to full forward. In the end, it was easy pickings for Sam Taylor. He whacks his kick outside the defensive 50. Ajar makes some good body position. Almost had it in his grasp. It fell down to Jones on the deck. He's tackled. And we will have a ball up. Left half forward, Dogs into attack. They trail by 5. 13 gone first term.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport. It's a September shaping Sunday as well. All pinballing around. Going in, Tom Green had a lot of it early. Gets a handball to the outside. Kelly swoops onto it for the Orange. Runs away with it. Kicks around the broadcast wing. Looking for Hogan. Jones over the top. Puts his knuckles through it. Sends it out of play. Throwing coming half forward here for the Giants. Let's go down to the boundary inside the fence. Ian Cohen.
Yeah, the Bulldogs are wearing black armbands for Sam Landsberger. Obviously, his dad, Jake Landsberger, was a long-time medico at the Western Bulldogs for decades. So the black armbands for the Dogs.
Had a tribute on the big screen as well. Some sad news coming through the week. After stoppage, Callaghan kicks inside the 50. Toby Green has a play at it. It rolls and bounces its way into the pocket. Hogan kept it in only momentarily. It'll be tossed in front of the old scoreboard. Used to be much deeper in that right forward pocket before the ground got realigned north-south here at Eureka Stadium as part of the big redevelopment to allow the Dogs to play AFL matches here. Giants by 5 points. They're inside attacking 50. 15 gone in this first term. Keefe out of the ruck. McMullen just kept it moving, surging forward. Cornelio, top of the goal square, tackled by a couple of Dogs. Now Cadman trying to get something moving. Umpire crosses the arms and says mine. Deep inside 50 for the Giants.
We're lucky to be playing here. It should be a NATS track at the moment for the Commonwealth Games, but alas, we're playing footy.
Keefe taps it down. The Dogs are there though. McRae, handball away towards Jones. Gets it on the boot. Trying to mark Buckley. Eagle Hagan shoves him out of the way. Iden gathers it. Handball to O'Halloran. Stripped of it. McNeil comes away with it for the Dogs. Kicks up to the wing. Taylor, unopposed, takes the mark. Centre wing, kicks infield to Iden again on the logo. So there is a massive storm forecast for about 2 p.m. A lightning storm. Will it impact this game as Iden kicks inside 50, Hogan launches, ball hits the deck.
McNeil has a play at it. He can't pick it up. Cadman throws a boot at it as well. 15 out from the Giants' goal. Again, they just force it into a scrum. And we'll have a ball up in the right forward pocket.
Doing well here, the Dogs. Just locking it in, just stopping the scoring. If they can come away with 2 goals a quarter time, Bevo will be extremely happy with that.
Giants by 5. Sam Darcy inside the defensive 50. Scrambles a kick out of the area. Buckley charges it down. Spills to Waitman a long way from home. Slipped as he kicked, but got it up toward the wing. Taylor will have it coming back in for the Giants. Offloads to Himmelberg, to Perryman. High kick off a step inside the forward 50. Shielding his eyes was O'Halloran. Cornelio lays the tackle at ground level. Hogan comes up with it. One handball missed his hand. Second one was a little bit more effective. Kelly knocked off it by Daniel. Whacked up the wing by O'Donnell for the Dogs.
Tracking it back is Slam Sam. He'll gather it for GWS. Backfeeds a handball. Buckley's under pressure. He's got 3 Dogs to contend with. Coughs it up. Norton comes away with it. Handball to Hugo Hagan. Tough shot from wide out. It'll float on the breeze to the pocket. Haynes drops the mark. Bailey Williams there for the Dogs. Forward pocket for them. Haynes does well, goes and wins it. Has support of Callaghan, who bundles it out. Right there with him is Bont. It's Bont up against his protege Callaghan. And a throw in right forward pocket for the Dogs. The Giants with a strong breeze in this opening term. They lead it by 5, 17 play.
And Callaghan following Bont wherever he goes, especially at the stoppages, trying to lock down.
Nathan Burke alongside Matthew Primus, your experts on ABC Sport. English inside the forward 50. Himmelberg had a play of it. Liberatore was there, tried to farm it up to Ugle-Hagan. Going through was Williams, coming away with the Cornelio for the Giants. Handball to Jones. Now the race of the helmets, and Caleb Daniel, who he almost might have won that. He pushed Jones off his kick. Ball spills to the deck. Dogs with it at right half forward. Daniel picks it up, bangs it inside the 50, over the head of English. That's no mean feat, especially back into the wind. Taylor whacks it the other way, clearing kick. Thomas out along the boundary line, and then Cadman forces it over. And we'll have it thrown in. Just board of the wing. Dogs attacking half. They trail by 5. 18 gone first term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Eureka Stadium in Ballarat.
Yeah, the Bulldogs are getting good numbers back, and that's why Jones couldn't release the ball then. So you'd like to see the Giants try and equalise those numbers and see if they get better inside 50s.
Umpire flings it back in. English laying it down to the front. McRae burrowing after it. Handball out towards the support there in Bailey Williams, who gets it onto Caleb Daniel. Kicks inside 50, big collision. Giants player down. Norton comes up with it. Handball to Ugle-Hagan. He paddles it on. Gallagher trying to emerge with it. Gets a handball away, but coughs it up. Peatling coming through. Play stopped. Free kick.
Wide tackle he played.
Yep. So free kick will go to Peatling at fullback. He's done some relayed turf down there. So it is GWS by 5 points. Sorry, Berkey.
So I'm just saying Gallagher should have done better then. He's a small player, small forward. You can't fumble below your knees in front of goal.
Peatling drives it outside the defensive 50, off a couple of pairs of hands, spills to Jones and Fraser. McMullen comes in over the top and it's locked up. Broadcast side wing. Joel Peterson, Ben Cameron calling it for you on ABC Sport. Matthew Primus, Nathan Burke, your expert. Ian Cohen on the boundary. First of 3 massive final-shaping games on the final Sunday of this home and away season. Ricochets around at the stoppage. Jarray bangs it inside forward 50 for the Dogs. Taylor, imperious in defence, just floats across and jaggles the mark in 40 out from his defensive goal.
Ugle-Hagan has to know that Taylor's going to fly for all of those marks. You just can't let him go and be that third man up, so he has to go with him every single time it's in the air.
Buckley with a beautiful kick out to the wing, and the diminutive Harvey Thomas takes the mark. Maybe the steal in last year's draft. Kick 59. Played 21 games this year. Mozzed him. He's turned it over with his kick. Straight to Liberatore. Dogs with the ball. Daniel feeds out a handball to Bramble. Clever low kick around the wing. Can't find a target though. Right in there for GWS. Handball to Tom Green. All of this on the Brick Factory wing. Off to Whitfield. He'll kick infield. Peatling tries to tap it on. Taps it to the Dogs though. Fraser gathers the footy wrapped up. Ball up just forward of halfway in the middle. Still the Giants by 5 points. Time on in this first term.
Yeah, no issues getting the ball inside 59 to the Bulldogs into the breeze. They've done really well in this first quarter.
Donald's had it more than any dog so far with 6. Tom Green's had it 9 times, coming off 40 last week. Here's Richards for the Dogs with a bit of pace. Kicks a cop to the full forward. How's it going to bounce? Jamari Ugle-Hagan goes to ground. Iden tracks it down on the behind line. And pass to Buckley, who just eases a 55-metre kick down the line toward Peatling. Now a few bubbles floating in on the wind onto the ground. There's something going on in that pocket. Richards at left half forward for the Dogs. Centering kick to a really dangerous spot. And a dangerous man in Tim English, who stands tall 30 from home, drags it in and can have a shot to put the Dogs back in front.
Well, the Giants have been the best pressure team in the competition all year, but at the moment the Bulldogs are bringing enormous heat to them, causing a lot of turnovers. They're winning the contested ball and winning the inside 50 battle, and if English can kick this will be an outstanding first quarter.
Re-signed recently to cement his spot in the future of this Bulldogs team. Into the side this week. And he's kicked it out of bounds on the full. That gives you an indication of what the wind's doing. That did start right, but it went a long way more right.
It shows you how good Waitman's kick was early in the quarter, doesn't it?
Certainly does. Jim Akram would have been happy with that swing. That was hooping. Giants with it. Sam Taylor at fullback. Off to Whitfield. Needs a handball forward to Wyden. He'll kick on the breeze. From inside defensive 50 to the attacking 50. Bouncing ball. O'Halloran gathers the footy. Handball to Toby Green. Twisting, turning. Caught. Slithering free. Handball away. Gets rid of it to Briggs. Handball's back inside 50. Jones trying to emerge with it. McRae tackles him. Holding the ball. Good defensive pressure from the Dogs.
Yeah, outstanding tackle pressure. Outstanding to stop the Giants for handball and run game.
Giants led it by 5 points, 22 and a half minutes played in this opening term.
Haven't had a score in 13 minutes of game time. Caleb Daniel at half-back. Chips it short to Duray, not paid the 15. Rides the bump, hands it off to Bailey Dale. Gets around Darcy Jones. Kicks as far as he can. Back into the teeth of the wind. Darcy and Buckley get a little bit tangled up at right half forward, and the ball goes out on the Midland Highway side. It'll be thrown back in on our broadcast side on the boundary for us on ABC Sport. Is Ian Cohen.
We saw Cody Waitman, clever, local, knew what he was doing. Low punching kick into the wind. Tim English set it up for sale, and it just about ended up in Lake Wendouree. The Bulldogs have to learn, and surely the Giants have to go to school as well if you're kicking to that left-hand end.
Checked out the statue of Mick Malthouse at Lake Wendouree today as well. It's good if you're listening, Mick. Well polished as after it, the Dogs. Shoveling out a handball there is Liberatore. There's a whistle before that, though. Free kick coming back. It'll go to the Dogs.
Yeah, just reached in on Liber and got him around the neck.
So the mark set 40 metres out and kicking right into the teeth of the breeze. I'm not sure Liber will have the carry here.
He's their sub already.
He's looking around, isn't he?
So Liber, his eyes darting. Marty Jones into the game. We'll get an update in a moment. Then comes Liber. The kick from 45. It won't have the journey. It'll land in the goal square. Off hands and not through. That gives you an idea again of that wind strength. Ian Cohen inside the fence on ABC Sport.
Yeah, Artie Jones, has that been activated already for the Western Bulldogs? Vandermeer with hamstring tightness.
Only in round 24. Subbed out with hamstring tightness in the first quarter. Long kick down the line. Lobb takes it off. Thanks, Koza. Dogs will take possession again from the broadcast side wing. Treloar just carves his path forward. Kicks an absolute sack inside the forward 50. And it's coming back out. Whitfield to Kelly for the Giants. Now to Callahan. Out wide to Buckley. Loops the handball forward to Haynes. They've made it to the broadcast side wing, and it's go time from there. Kicks inside the 50. Easy pickings for Liam Jones, who takes the mark on his chest. In the back pocket for the Dogs. Giants by 4, 24 and a half gone opening terms. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Haven't made the best of the breeze, GWS, so far, as Treloar kicks infield to Bailey Dale. Pete says, what's the crowd size at Ballarat? Sounds like a big turnout. What would you estimate? Joel, as Dale kicks out to English on the wing. Arriving late is Buckley. Spoils it down. Kelly picks it up. Sends the Giants inside 50 with a floating kick. Lobb attacks it, knocks it away, goes and gets it. Gathers back pocket. Off towards Duray, who stabs it short. And now the Dogs might go down the outer side wing.
I'm trying to remember the capacity here, Benny. I think it's somewhere just under 15.
Yeah, I reckon we've got about 11. That's my guess.
Bramble, who's played a bit of footy here for the Sunbury Lions in the Ballarat League. Duray at half-back, sprawling forward, can't take the mark, right on the numbers of the defensive 50. And then he legged Toby Green, who flopped out like it was a brown trout in Lake Wendouree, trying to sell that free kick.
Yeah, he got the umpire's attention then, didn't he?
Caleb Daniel hung the lure out there, Berkey.
It was a smart free kick because the handball would have gone to Darcy Jones, who would have ran inside around about 30 and had a shot. So with Toby sort of exaggerating the free kick, he couldn't get the handball off.
What a performance he put on here last year. 5 second-half goals to lead them to a thrilling victory. Kicks from outside 50, hoists it high into the wind. And it's away to the right-hand side as it just carries on that breeze. 5 points the margin again, 26 gone. Opening terms, Sunday footy on ABC Sport at Eureka Stadium in Ballarat.
3-game slate today. This is the early game. Carlton and St Kilda to follow. Last day trauma a couple of years ago for Carlton. Will it repeat? And then Fremantle and Port Adelaide to wrap it up. Bailey Dale sends it long out to the Brick Factory wing. No mark taken. Down at ground level, Tom Green is always going hard at it. He's tackled quickly. A ball up to come. Dan from Perth says, how would a draw in any of the 3 games today shape the finals? We'll explain that in just a moment. Umpire puts it up. Briggs slapping it down. Away to Callahan. Off to Kelly. Hooks a kick inside 50. Up goes Cadman and marks. Deep in the left forward pocket. That's a good grab. 25 metres out from the goal. and the breeze should assist here.
Should assist, but he's got to be careful. There's a siren.
That doesn't help.
No, he can't get the ball curving too early because it will really curve sharply. So needs to hang it out in the middle of the goal square and let it drift through.
Looks like he's going with the drop punt. So he'll rely on the breeze. Sets it out to the goal mouth. The wind brings it back, and that is perfect. A couple for Cadman on the quarter-time siren. And GWS 3-1-19 lead the Dogs 1-8 in this September shaping clash at quarter-time. So 2 for Cadman, 1 for Hogan. The keys involved for the Giants. Waitman with the only goal for the Western Bulldogs. Great to have you with us from Eureka Stadium. Ben Cameron, Joel Peterson, Nathan Burke, Matt Primus and Ian Cohen. We'll get to more of your SMSs on 0437 774 774 in a moment. Right now we'll pause on Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
Hey, it's Sana Kadar here. And if you like to ponder life and the human condition, the ABC Listen app has all the podcasts. Explore the mental with All in the Mind.
Much more abstract than hypnagogic hallucinations.
Or get a little provoked by big ideas.
Media moguls abuse their power.
Pollutes our democracy.
And figure out the big stuff with Life Matters.
Children will start to distance themselves from their parents.
Load up a podcast and think deeper with the ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
And Perriman's able to take it at true centre half back. He launches it on the Zephyr down the other way. Kicks it 70 metres inside the 50. Cadman's out the back. He's slammed into the turf by Jones and gets a free. Cadman's going to have a set shot from 40 metres out. For the first of the game, his left foot kick is there.
He cuts it up, Liberatore, handball to Waitman, plays for the high free kick.
Got it.
And he'll get it. Umpire Williamson comes charging in, chest out, and says free kick to Cody Waitman, 30 metres out.
Look at those goalposts shaking too.
They are swaying in the breeze. Waitman comes in, keeps it low, and finishes with class. The Bulldogs answer immediately.
Here's Callan Ward. He would be a kick and a half from home usually. Might only be a good kick from home on this occasion. Puts it to full forward. Hogan paid the juggling mark at the top of the square. Jesse Hogan, what a stellar season he's had. For goal number 68 of the campaign. That familiar approach and a familiar result. Hogan with his first hands the Giants back the lead.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
GWS leading by 11 points at quarter time, but they did have the significant breeze here at Ballarat in that opening term. So in provisional second as it stands at the moment. That's what they're playing for, a New South Wales shutout of the top two on the AFL ladder. The Western Bulldogs trying to lock in a place in the 8 and a home final with a win today. Sunday Footy on ABC Sport. Great to have you with us, our experts, a Hall of Famer Nathan Burke and a dual All-Australian in Matt Primus. What did we see?
Well, Berg, I thought the Bulldogs did really well. You know, obviously, as we said, they're going into the win, but they got their game plan going. They won the clearances by 5. They dominated contested possession by +10, which you have to do against the Giants. And they're able to virtually have the same amount of inside 50s down by 1. And apart from that goal at the end, they'd be really happy with that, where the Giants brought a lot of pressure, but probably overdid it a little bit going with the win. So it'll be interesting to see what changes they make there. But a pretty even quarter, probably a little bit advantage with the Bulldogs. I just watched Adam Kingsley then at quarter time, and he spent a fair bit of time talking to Green. So it'll be, Kelly. It'll be interesting to see what they do there, trying to generate a spare behind the ball going into the win here, and a lot of time with him. So I'll keep an eye on what kind of tactics they come up with there with the Bulldogs going with a strong breeze.
Yeah, the Bulldogs forward line interests me. Their tools didn't really come into play much in that quarter. Struggled to really read the ball going in. A lot of the kicks weren't great going in, but I don't want them to all start thinking the only way we're going to get the ball is just bang it forward and we get the 3 of them all jumping up against each other. So the rule has to be some lead and some long. and try and isolate these really good GWS defenders, because if they're all going to jump against each other, we've got 6 guys jumping in the air, well, then no one's going to take any marks. So how they manufacture that forward line is going to be important. And the other thing is, are the Giants going to handball the ball across that half-back line again? Because it's been really obvious that the Bulldogs have put a lot of pressure on that area of the ground, and if they can turn the ball over just forward of centre in the Bulldogs half through that enormous pressure, because the Giants are overusing it, well, then they're going to get a heap of inside 50s, and it's just that quality of the inside 50 that will make a difference in the end. So will the Giants change their game plan? Will that forward line of Western Bulldogs work together or hinder each other?
Yeah, it will be interesting, because at the moment they're going 1-for-1 kick for handball virtually, the Giants, so they probably need to make a change, but it's hard to when you've played a certain way all year, but conditions probably dictate a little bit, but I reckon they will continue to do it because running in waves is their strength, and if the Bulldogs can continue this pressure on them, that'll be the telling thing this quarter.
Just looking down beneath us, Luke Beveridge charging back up to the coach's box, and one of the Bulldogs fans closer to the coach here at Ballarat sort of said good luck or words to the effect, and Bevo sort of warmly grabbed his arm and I assume said thanks mate, it was very friendly, and away we go. So they do lead it by 11 points, GWS. There is a big storm forecast to arrive shortly after 2 o'clock. It's building over the Grampians, you tell me, at the moment, Joel. Second quarter underway. Briggs tapping it down, trying to come through Peatling. Bontempelli clean, picks it up. Dogs in possession. Off to Liberatore, kicks inside 50. Norton launching at the footy. Doesn't take the mark, follows up again. Perryman sticks in a hand. Caleb Daniel wins it. Dogs inside 50. Handball away to Richards. Snaps on the breeze. Darcy's down at full forward. He'll get a bounce. It nicks the post. Just nicks the inside part of the post. Minor score, so 10 points the Giants lead. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. The best Sunday of footy you could ask for as well.
Yeah, Caleb Daniel's gone forward with Vandermeer not on for the rest of the game with that hamstring tightness. So that's a good move, I think, because he's really good when the ball hits the ground, and it's going to be on the ground a lot.
7 disposals in that opening term for Caleb Daniel. Hilberg out of defence for the Giants. Kicks to a big pack. English comes in over the top. It's going to be a free kick because he got a shove on the way through. Did the big ruck. And so Tim English just nurses a 9-9 inside the forward 50. Darcy thought he got a push, and the umpire agrees. Free kick to Sam Darcy, 30 metres out. He'll go back on just better than a 45-degree angle to the left of centre.
It's a bit of an unnecessary free kick, so I think Darcy had completely misread the footy. It was going over his head, but just a little bit of a shove. Not enough to push him over at all. We need to take the most of these opportunities.
He's like the human equivalent of that scissor lift behind the goals. Here's Sam Darcy. He'll kick from 35 metres out. 7 last week, and he's on the board here in Ballarat. 2-3-15 the Dogs. The G-Men 3-1-19. First goal of the second term with the wind goes the way of the Western Bulldogs. We're 2 minutes into it on ABC Sport.
Yeah, you're right, Berg. It was just the panic, wasn't it? He slipped over and thought, oh, the big fella's in the air, and pushed him in the back unnecessary. But that's what those key forwards do. They get in front and they have a jump of the ball. They make the backman panic, and it's probably that centre bounce clearance stuff. It's 5-1 to the Bulldogs, something that the Giants want to try and rectify because they're getting really good territory in that area of the ground. That's something you don't want to give up today.
Thoughts of Matt Primus alongside Nathan Burke.
It's very short.
Sunday footy on ABC Sport, sorry,
mate. It's very short Bulldogs forward line with Gallagher, Caleb Daniels, McNeil and Waitman.
Mosquito fleet as English slaps it down into the path of Bontempelli. Loses it, will get a free kick though, the Bont. Nearly win a Brownlow medal this year. Will it be Nick Dacos? He goes short to English, feeds the handball out wide. Bramble cuts back infield, attacking edge of the square, looks long on the breeze, sends it on goal, sends it through. No, just misses to the left. The crowd went up behind. He didn't react. Minor score, 3 points is the Giants' lead. Early stages of the second. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
He got the distance easy, though. He just nudged it down there and it carried all the way. Gallagher goes upstairs against a much bigger man in Himmelberg and bashes it out of play.
So a question about draws in today's matches. A draw would be good enough for the Bulldogs because of their percentage. It wouldn't be good enough for Carlton, because Fremantle, if they win, have a better percentage. So that's assuming Fremantle win. So those are some of the machinations of this dramatic final day.
Yeah, so the Dockers sit that half game behind the Blues and the Dogs. Richards at the stoppage, left foot kick to full forward. Taylor and Darcy both there. Darcy kept his feet. Didn't matter that Taylor didn't, because it bounced out of play in the left forward pocket at the showgrounds end, the southern end of the ground here at Eureka Stadium in Ballarat. 3-1-19 to 2-4-16. 4 minutes gone. Second term Sunday footy on ABC Sports.
Clearances are still away from the Giants. Are getting flogged at the moment.
Umpire throws it in. Darcy takes it out of the ruck, off to Treloar, twisting and turning in the pocket. Handball to Richards, tries to keep it in. Kick smothered there by Daniel from Peatling, and now to play another throw in. Jen says, great you're broadcasting this game. Talk about something other than the win. We're seasoned to it. Go Doggies. I know you are, Jen, but a lot of people not here aren't. And it is a big factor in this game as Briggs takes it out of the ruck, turns it over. Haley Dale, 51 metres out. He's within distance here. He's a long raking kick and has, dare I say it, Jen, that strong breeze at his back.
Yeah, he knew straight away. He said, I've got this within me. It's just a matter of accuracy.
Bailey Dale into a trot, attacking edge of their square, sets it up, rides the breeze and rides it through. Dogs in front. 3-4-22, plays 3-1-19. Back-to-back goals to start the second. Nathan Burke and Matt Primus on Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Well, Berkey mentioned it. It's the clearance stuff. It's 4-1 to the Bulldogs, and they're just getting territory. And then in this, I won't say it again, but the conditions that they're suited, that's just going to upset the way the Giants need to play. They need to get their hands on the ball. Their midfielders need to get dirty and start winning some of that contested ball, because if this territory battle keeps going the way it is in this second quarter, the Bulldogs are going to have a handy lead at half-time.
The reason that wind is such a big factor here is because there is just such a smaller level of protection. You have a similar level of wind at the MCG, or maybe not from the north at the Adelaide Oval with that open end, but many grounds have got so much protection around them with stands. It's just not the case here at Ballarat with that wind out of the north. So it is a big factor playing a role this afternoon. And of course, you know, one of these teams is used to playing under a roof in at Docklands. Peatling out of the middle. Out of contract at the end of the season. Giants hoping to hold on to him. He's been showing wide with some good form recently. Swings his kick wide to Ward. He marks centre of the Midland Highway side, the outer wing in the sunshine. Drops the kick to the edge of the 50. Holds up in the breeze. Allowed English to get across there. Didn't pull in the mark in the end. Dale farmed it up to O'Donnell. Kicks along the boundary line. Daniel and Perryman collide. And it goes out off hands. It'll be thrown back into play. Outer side of the ground. Dogs by 3 points. Back-to-back goals in this second term to kick us off. We're 6 into it.
Lachie Whitfield up to 15 possessions already. Richards with 10 and Tom Green with 10 also.
Throw in on the Brick Factory wing. Ball taken in the wind. Both rucks miss it. Picking it up, Callaghan. Handball out to Kelly. Tackle quickly. Off to Tom Green. Turns it over to Treloar of the Dogs. Floats it down the wing. Hugo Hagan runs underneath it. Drops the mark. Waitman comes through. Can't gather it cleanly. McNeil can. Releases the run of Richards. Dogs at half forward. Trips over his own feet. Has to get back up. Give it off to Treloar. Has some running room. Half forward for the Dogs. Sends it long on the breeze. McMullen, like a goalkeeper. He dives and parries it wide of the goal. So it is the Dogs leading by 4 points, 7 minutes into their second term. Worried Grant in Hobart planting pink-eye potatoes. Listening to a great call. Go the Blues this Arvo. Be plenty of that. Lots of fingernails getting chewed today.
There will be. Stephen Keneally just had 3 possessions so far. 1 kick, 2 handballs. Probably need him to get around that midfield, and because that's where they're getting beaten at the moment.
Whitfield with disposal number 16. Kicks long down the line. McRae's thrown into the turf by young Harvey Thomas. And we'll have a ball up right beneath our broadcast position. Joel Peterson, Ben Cameron with you. Nathan Burke and Matt Primus. And ABC Sport, Ian Cohen on the boundary. Inside the fence this afternoon. McMullen grabs Richards after he got rid of 1 tackle, didn't get rid of the second. And a free kick to the young man out of Port Fairy. Handballs to Tom Green, who slipped over immediately, gave it back to McMullen, gave it back to Green, who tunnel-balled it out the back, and it was stolen by Richards of the Dogs. Right foot kick inside the 50. Taylor sits under it. Norton comes across. He interfered with Taylor. Free kick to the Giants at fullback, hands it off to Buckley.
Buckley gets a handball away to Wyden, nowhere to really go, has to go back to Buckley. Goes for a little gambit, now a kick up to the wing, can't find a target, Lob knocks it down, wins it for the Dogs, handball to Dale, back to Lob to Duray. He'll kick off a step into the pocket, looking for Norton or Waitman. Over their heads, but off hands and out of play, thrown in the pocket.
Yeah, we've seen the style of the Giants, we spoke about it a quarter time. Both handball received, then they did off a mark. That brought them into trouble. They need to play a little bit slower going into the breeze, and then they can set up forward the ball. Because they're playing quicks, costing them a lot of territory and turnovers.
Dogs by 4 points. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Ball tossed back in. Oh, Bontempelli at the stoppage, off to Richards, who just cruises through. And slams a goal at the scoreboard end. Ed Richards running rampant through the stoppage. And again, the creative force of it all for the Dogs was Marcus Bontempelli. Out by 10 points now, the hosts. 3 in a row for the Western Bulldogs. 4-5-29 to the Giants. 3-1-19. 9.5 played, second term.
The Cardinals said, Bergie, no touch and feel on a dominant stoppage player. They just let Bontempelli run through without having any body on him, and then he's just good enough to be able to find somebody with his hands. But yeah, really disappointing work by the Giants midfield again.
Yeah, that was Tom Green at that time. Callahan has had him at most stoppages, but Tom Green went to him on that one, stood behind. As Bont moved forward, he just put a metre and a half gap between he and his opponent within a couple of steps, and he's just so clean, got himself free, and Ed Richards in the right spot to receive it and dribbles through a goal.
3 unanswered goals in the second term for the Dogs. Briggs wins the tap in the path there of Cornelio, tumbles it inside 50 for the Giants. Getting back though, Bailey Dale leaves it behind. Harvey Thomas, handball away towards Cabman, has to go back and track it, picks it up. Now the Dogs are there. Fraser bumps off one and then coolly glides across and chips it short. Caleb Daniel in the back pocket. Off for a run. Long kick up to the wing, looking for Artie Jones. Juggles the mark. Well done, Artie.
Well done by Fraser too. He's just an 18-year-old young fella, and he's playing strength. He's not panicking, bouncing off tackles. He's an absolute find for the Dogs.
The Dogs fans loving Artie Jones back into the team to Ugle-Hagan. Kicks to full forward. Taylor comes across, drop the mark. It spills away to Williams. 4 on the bounce for the Dogs, who are really snarling in this second term. 5-5-35 to 3-1-19. Game high 16-point lead. 11 minutes played in the second term.
Well, that one was just a right from the back line. It was Fraser initially, got the ball out to Caleb Daniel. It didn't muck around with it. Went for the longer option to Artie Jones, who took a really good contested mark. And again, didn't muck around with it. Didn't go to the pocket, didn't go into the corridor, just went to the top of the 15 metres out, top of the goal square. Put the Giants defenders under pressure, and because they're playing a relatively small forward line now, one of them was in the right spot and dribbled it through.
Game 150 for Bailey Williams today, and a goal in that milestone game. Looking like a team that doesn't want to leave their destiny in anyone else's hands. Bontempelli out of the middle. Long kick on his non-preferred right. Over the head of Waitman, tumbles out. Throwing in the right forward pocket.
Yeah, number 1 inside 50 team for the year, the Bulldogs, and 10-1 this quarter. They're really getting some dominance with the territory, and the scoreboard's starting to hurt the Giants now.
They'll throw in 10 metres around from that right hand behind post. Drops short on the breeze. Darcy takes it out of the ruck, snaps on goal, floats it through. He's a unicorn. 2 for Darcy. And the Dogs are putting a gap in the game. 6-5-41. Plays 3-1-19. 13 minutes into this second term. Here on ABC Sport. Nathan Burke and Matt Primus.
Sorry, Matt. Clearance is 17-10 in favour of the Dogs.
And he just conceded. Briggs conceded on the ruck down the wrong side. He should have been the defensive side, but geez, what a finish for a guy who's 204, 205 centimetres. Amazing on the left foot. What a finish. But they're playing a little bit soft here. They're minus 20 in the contested ball here, so the Bulldogs are just in and under and a lot harder, and then They're a lot cleaner too when the ball hits the ground.
Yeah, and if we get storms in this last quarter or so, this lead is absolutely vital, pivotal.
Might get a wind direction shift as well, potentially. Tom Green gets it moving for the Giants, tumbles it inside the forward 50. Dragged down is Bramble by Hogan.
It's only going to get more difficult to score later on, so this is the premiership quarter right now.
Tossed up inside forward 50 for the Giants, who conceded the last 5 of the game. Darcy does the ruck work. Handball given up to Peatling. Off to Tom Green. Slips a tackle. Handball out wide. Cornelio hard up against the boundary line. Left half forward. Off to Kelly. Centering kick. Dangerous position. It's bashed away from McMullen. Spills the Dogs' way. McNeil to Bontempelli. Cruising off half back. Hacks it off the ground. Straight into the arms of Peatling. Just inside the centre square.
Could in theory be the end result if we go off with the lightning storm in the second half. The scores would stand if we don't get back on. Kick into the pocket, onto it Keith, off to Toby Green, snap, he's sneaking through. No, hits the post, rattled it into the woodwork. Just not happening at the moment for the Giants. The Dogs lead it by 21, 14 played in the second. As the Dogs player down, looks like Duray, who's getting up a little worse for wear. Great to have you with us on this big day on ABC Sport.
Rory Lobbs attempted a torpedo, and it is the worst looking thing you've ever seen. It's barely made it outside the defensive 50, kicking with the wind.
Even I could have done that.
He may as well have just thrown a rock and see how that went.
I reckon you'd get more purchase than that, Berkey.
I reckon I'd get it outside 50 if I played on for 10 metres like he did.
Worth mentioning at the moment, it is sunny and a beautiful day, but
wearing T-shirts at the moment.
Yeah. But there is a storm coming.
Not a cloud in the sky.
McRae burrows his way under, and we have a ball up. Joel Peterson, Ben Cameron, Nathan Burke, Matt Primus with you, Ian Cohen on the boundary. Just inside forward 50 for the Giants. They've conceded the past 5 in the game. They trail by 21 halfway through this second term. Bontempelli does a bit of ruck work, just tries to bash it forward. Daniel in the same mould. Gets as much territory as he can toward the scoreboard end. Idens up to meet it. Dragged down by Waitman. Dogs back in possession. Daniel off to Bontempelli. Kick smothered. Himmelberg was legged. And Harry Himmelberg will get the free kick left half forward for the Giants. He's a kick and a half from home.
He looks in the Cabman direction, presenting it half forward. Wide out on the flank. Marks it 49 metres out. He points Babe Ruth style, but I don't think it was to the goal. He'll set it up towards a warmish sort of spot, looking for a marker. No one can take it at ground level. Keefe getting involved. Fraser dumps it on the boot, floats it beyond defensive 50 for the Dogs. Haynes gathers it, snaps it back inside 50 for the Giants. Tom Green stands tall and clunks it. Good mark from the big mid. He's got a 35 out with a tough kick into the breeze coming.
We'll see if he learned from Tim English's kick from a similar spot, which went out on the full. He needs to drill it hard and low.
Had 27 disposals in the second half last week, 16 contested and 10 clearances. That's just after half time. It's a pretty good day, generally speaking. So right into this stiff breeze. Tom Green. It is easy being green on this occasion. Beautiful finish. And it's back to 15 points. 6-5-41 plays 4-2-26. 17 minutes played, second quarter on ABC Sport. Our experts, Nathan Burke and Matt Primus.
The first time the Giants have been able to get a couple of repeat inside 50s just due to their pressure, being able to harass the Bulldogs, force a couple of quick kicks, and they'd set up pretty well with their back line. I think Haynes was able to generate a spare behind the ball, and then a lucky snap there, but Green, a beautiful finish. But yeah, 3 or 4 minutes of good pressure by the Giants, and as they do, they hang around. They don't really get blown away. They might not be playing their best football, but they hang around, and if they can get their best football going, that's when they can get the scoreboard ticking over. But a good 3 or 4 minute period here for them.
And Toby Green has moved himself into the middle now.
So breaks a run of 5 unanswered goals to the Bulldogs, and they'll come out of the middle once more here, the Giants. Peatling whacks it inside the forward 50. Hogan in the pack, bashed away from him, picked off by Kelly, dribbles it toward goal, 2 in a minute. Josh Kelly with the gather and the snap in an instant. And the Giants have got it back to 9 points almost immediately. 5-2-32 to 6-5-41. 18 gone, second term on ABC Sport.
Well, they've been able to win the last 2 centre bounces. Obviously, that one resulted in a goal, but it gives them territory, and we know that they've got some talent in their forward half there. And as you mentioned, Barry, Toby's probably put himself in there. He hasn't had much of a look at it this quarter and get his hands dirty. He didn't win that ball then, but he creates a different dynamic in there. And as we said, they're a good 5-minute period. They've got their hands dirty and they get their scoreboard ticking over.
Yeah, just being in there, so Adam Treloar says, okay, I need to pay you a little bit more attention than I would somebody else. Just takes his mind off getting the footy himself, and that's all it takes sometimes.
Michael says, as a Port supporter, loving the result so far. Maybe not so much the last couple of minutes. We get a secondary ball up in the middle. No room to move in there.
Rory Lobb just running himself forward and taking his forward with him, so unusual move.
Briggs takes it out of the ruck, handballs it straight to Bailey Dale. Dogs on half-back. Dale a little 1-2 with Caleb Daniel. Kicks around the edge of the square. Artie Jones misjudges it. Spills to the back. Taylor there for the Giants. Quick handball away to Haynes. He fumbles it. Allows in Darcy. Shovels it out. Straight to orange jumpers. McMullen driven into the turf in a tackle there from McRae. Comes out. Darcy dumps it on the boot. Tumbles it inside 50. Wide in there for the Giants though.
Handball to Whitfield along the boundary line to O'Halloran. Grabbed by Treloar. Not letting him out of his grasp. Former Giant lays a good tackle. And we'll have it ball up on the boundary line. O'Halloran was the one opposed to Lobb. They got dragged forward to try and exploit the mismatch, and they didn't kick it to Rory Lobb.
No, you got Lobb and Darcy down there, so it's a big forward, big square.
Briggs off to Tom Green. Handball turned over. McRae gave it to Dale inside the 50. Haynes back with the flight with courage, as he always does. Rolls its way into the right forward pocket. Darcy tries to keep it alive, but Taylor was keen to see it out. And he does so in the scoreboard pocket. It'll be tossed back in. 6-5-41, the Dogs. 5-2-32, the Giants. They kicked 5 in this term, the Dogs. GWS with the last 2. We're just into time on ABC Sport.
3 full games today. Carlton and St Kilda to follow. Then Fremantle and Port. Umpire brings it back in. Laying it down, Briggs. Straight to Kelly. Kicks off a step, a spiral. Hogan marks it centre half back. So relief for the Giants. The Coleman medalist elect almost is Jesse Hogan as he kicks out towards the wing, and McMullen tumbling to ground to mark.
We can give it to him.
Yeah, I think we can. Great story as well. McMullen kicking into the teeth of the breeze. Briggs stands in front of the pack and marks.
Poor by the Bulldogs tools. They didn't go with him. They were hoping they're going to get brought to ground, and a contested mark against them.
Giants working it down the wing. Briggs short to Toby Green.
Got a feeling that Kieran Briggs won't be moved around too much by the wind. What a solid unit he is. Toby Green kicks inside forward 50. Cadman comes over the top, gets a hand to it, brings it down to Tom Green. Dogs have numbers. Jones ran straight past it for the Western Bulldogs. Haynes had it, lost it. Handball into traffic. Williams off to Jones. That was really sweet hands from Artie Jones. To Gallagher to McRae. Here go the Western Bulldogs, surging through the middle of the ground. Darcy kicks inside forward 50. Bontempelli had 2 to beat. Iden will get back there in the back pocket. Handball to Ward. Handball back to Iden. Sees it out of play. Bontempelli fell over but recovered to apply some pressure, and the Dogs lock it inside their forward 50, 30 metres out in the left forward pocket.
Yeah, bad choice by Sam Darcy in the middle. He had Adam Treloar running next to him. Better off handballing to him with shoulders forward rather than turn around and kick it quickly yourself.
Both rucks miss it. Tumbles to ground. There to pick it up. Kelly for the Giants. Tumbles a kick around the wing. Jones overruns it. Allows in Dale for the Dogs. Handball to Bramble. Forward handball away to McRae. Loops it over the top. Half forward flank. Ugle Hagan likes the look of it and misses the lot. Out of bounds on the full. So the Giants with it in their back pocket. Anonymous text. Leave your name and where you're texting from. Huge pressure on the Bont from the Brownlow point of view. Might need a 3-vote game. Neil in Coburg says, a long-suffering Roo fan. Heard many of your North calls. Always honest and fair. Fine work. We like those ones, don't we?
Whitfield to bring it back in. 18 points, 18 disposals for him. Williams sees it out for a throw-in for the Dogs on the outer side of the ground. 23 minutes gone, second term. Dogs kicked 5 in a row to start this quarter. The Giants with the last 2 to get it back to a 9-point spread. Big day of footy ahead. You can get it all no matter where you are on the ABC Listen app. Treloar lays a crunching tackle on Peatling. Liberatore was ready to sprint away with it, but not before Robert Finlay could cross his arms and says we will have a ball up 60 metres out from the Dogs' goal.
Up it goes, slapping it down Briggs. He goes to ground himself. Treloar trying to get in there. Cornelio wraps him up. A couple of the inaugural Giants standing together there. Umpire puts it up again, same spot, half-forward flank for the Dogs. At ground level, slapping it out, Cornelio. Comes out to Bailey Williams. He's tackled by Toby Green. Ball spits out. Onto it, Bailey Dale. The Bailey bunch getting involved. Snaps inside 50. Ugle-Hagan leaping for the chest mark. Can't come down with it. Arriving is Gallagher. Stripped of it. Dispossessed in the tackle. Holding the ball. Giants take the advantage. There might not have been any. Callahan gets rid of it to Kelly. Look out. Rushes the kick and nearly turns it over.
Giray dropped the mark and Whitfield sprints clear. He handballed it at the knees of Darcy Jones. Made it awfully tough for him. Hardy Jones was there to try and disrupt it for the Bulldogs. Jones goes back in for the Giants, but the Western Bulldogs will come away with it. McRae off to Dale. Stabs his kick inside the 50 and finds Harvey Gallagher right on the edge of the 50.
It was a great kick because the Giants are playing Callum Ward behind the ball from the wing there, so there was nothing if he went long. Lowered his eyes, and a really smart decision.
The boy from Bendigo in enemy territory here in Ballarat. On the right side of it as far as the home fans are concerned for the Bulldogs. He'll kick from just outside the 50. Gallagher loads up, sends it goalward and misses to the left-hand side. 10-point lead to the Dogs. 25 gone, second turn.
So on the live ladder, the Western Bulldogs would have locked up a place inside the top 8. GWS wouldn't finish top 2. Himmelberg with the kick in. Goes long out to the wing. Hogan launching lots of it. Doesn't quite drag it down. Cornelio picks it up from the feet of the pack. Dumps it on the boot. It's a good bounce that obediently tumbles out. Throwing on the centre line on that Brick Factory wing.
Yeah, both teams trying to do a lot of interchanges here, but they're unable to do it. The play's all over the other side of the ground and they can't get anyone on. So the modern game.
Great to have you with us here on ABC Sport. Thrown on the wing, drops short of the rucks, tracking after it is Briggs. Like a rolling maul in rugby union, eventually gets a handball away. Getting rid of it quickly, Haynes, and a free kick. It'll come back and go to Harvey Gallagher. So Dogs with it, high half forward on that Brick Factory wing. They lead it by 10 points at the moment.
Got tall inside 50. Lobb stayed down there and Norton's back on the ground too.
Why not kick it to him, Berkey? It goes over all their heads in the end on the win. Ward's back at fullback. Handball to McMullen. Clean hands from Callan Ward. Offloads to Whitfield. Disposal number 21. Low kick at the feet of Cadman. Paddles it toward the boundary line. And he's shoved out by O'Donnell. It'll be tossed back in underneath the grandstand here at Eureka Stadium in Ballarat. Aaron Norton just receiving a little bit of attention off the footy.
He's had a couple of trainers out to him today and spent a long time on the bench this quarter. It just doesn't quite look right.
Hunched over opposed to Iden at the moment. English has one golden in ruck, then just bashes it inside forward 50 off the bounce. Ugle-Hagan takes it. He's tackled by Buckley just inside the 50 and a ball up.
Yeah, that's the risk if they go tall. If they're not marking the ball, the Giants are able to run the ball out because they've got dominance on the ground.
Briggs slaps it down onto it. Liberatore though. Off to McRae by hand. Kick to full forward. Darcy at the front of the pack at the back. Himmelberg marks defensively for GWS.
What a mark.
I don't know how Himmelberg can mark the ball when you've got Ugle-Hagan, Lobb, Darcy and Norton down there. How can the defender mark that ball?
Himmelberg sending it long to the halfback flank for the Orange team. Has picked up quickly there by Treloar. Gives it off to McRae. Now to O'Donnell. Kicks inside 50. Norton just waiting, standing down. Then marks it on his chest. 25 out directly in front.
Yes, so what happened to him? Callum Ward was on him. He was trying to call Haynes to get back onto his direct opponent, who was his opponent, but he just refused to do it and wanted to zone off. And then when the quick kick came in, nobody was on the Bulldogs forward. Now they get an easy shot 20 metres out.
So visited by the trainers. Now Plum in front. Norton comes in and whacks it through. The game and a position in the 8 is in the Doggies' keeping, at least for now. 7-6-48 plays 5-2-32 on the stroke of half-time. Great to have you with us on ABC Sport. Nathan Burke, our Hall of Famer, and Matt Primus, our dual All-Australian.
Yeah, a handy smart kick there by O'Donnell coming in as well, because the tendency is if you get the ball 70 out, you're just going to try and kick it as far as you possibly can. But he didn't. He just sort of pulled it off a little bit, made sure it got to a really dangerous spot. And normally, if you're a forward, you're probably thinking, okay, I've got to get front and centre to the contest. But when it's carrying that extra 5, actually back and centre is probably the most dangerous spot that you can get to. And that's where Norton was and took an easy chest mark in the end.
So the Dogs answer back, closing in on half-time. Still a couple of minutes to go. Plenty of time to be played in this term. Tom Green kicks an absolute skyrocket up toward half-forward. O'Halloran lays the body in out there. Does some really hard physical stuff. Brings Bailey Williams down. It's going to be a free kick. On that outer side for deliberate.
When you kick the ball off the ground and it goes out of bounds, it's just automatically deliberately, even though that one went 40 metres.
In the mercy of the officials at that point. So Whitfield averaging a career-high disposal this year, over 30. He's got 22 before half-time. Kicks down the line. Briggs just rumbles his way through the pack. Can't take the mark. It spills to the turf and a free kick. Going to the Giants, centre wing on the outer side of the grounds.
This is a big 3.5 minutes here. If the Giants can peg one back at least, then they'll be happy. If the Bulldogs can kick one or two, then absolutely they'll be wrapped. But it's a big 2.5 minutes.
There's so much red and blue on that bank on the Brick Factory wing. They weren't happy with the distance of the short kick. Briggs to Whitfield, then on to Toby Green. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Toby Green turns it over, comes infield, kicks it straight to Waitman. Defensive point of the square for the Dogs. Has to wait for everyone to stream by. Stabs it to Williams in his milestone game. Handball to Fraser. Runs around a couple, kicks on the breeze. It'll drift inside 50. McMullen's the only one there. He marks right on the arc of defensive 50. So Dogs by 16, nearly half-time.
Taylor to the Giants, to Perryman, another who's out of contract at the end of the year. Facing a couple of offers from different clubs. Fraser caught by O'Halloran, and he's in all kinds of trouble now.
Well, Hogan's out forward centre too.
Free kick to the Giants. Hogan wants it in the pocket. That's where the footy will go. Can Jesse mark it? Almost. He brings it down. Now into the forward pocket. They keep it alive, the Giants. It just surged toward the goal square. Keeves hand pass. Gallagher had it, lost it, taken on the goal line by Peatling, who swings around and he's managed to kick it out of bounds on the full from 15 metres out. Just not going their way at the moment, the Giants.
Can't blame the breeze for that one. They just completely missed it. But good effort by the Giants to keep it up, lock it up there and before half-time. But Fraser's probably had 30 seconds that he might not want to where he live.
Jarray kicks along up towards Ugle-Hagan, slips through his fingers. Bontempelli at the back. Handball to Waitman, sweeps a handball without looking, turns it over. Whitfield for the Giants on the logo. Callahan, interesting kick, doesn't find Haynes, puts him under pressure. Norton then brought into the play, soccers it on. It spills out to Richards. He can look inside 50. Callahan trying to make amends, tracking it back. Buckley's there, gathers in the back pocket for the Giants, does really well. Neatly kicks to Haynes, half-back flank. GWS survived, Dogs by 16.
Haynes measures it off nicely to Whitfield. 25th disposal for Lockie Whitfield in a half a footy. Himmelberg at half-back, now to McMullen. They generate some run, the Giants. Short kicking ball movement, kicks a sack up the line, cut off by English. Handball back infield to Treloar. Treloar will put the Dogs right to the edge of the 50 and Ugle-Hagan, who marks it 53 metres out, right half forward along the boundary.
He's got it in him.
Crowd behind him scream for some action. He hoists it into the breeze. Waitman goes up. He can't mark in the left forward pocket. And Callan Ward emerges with it, takes a bounce, arches the back, gets around the youngster. A spry Callan Ward, handballs to Green. He's caught inside the defensive 50 and holding the ball. Free kick to the Dogs. And it's Joel Fraser who laid the tackle and will go back from in front of the big sticks, 45 out.
It's funny how footy works. He mucked up two just previously, but he's got an opportunity to more than make up for it by putting it through. I'm not sure how many goals he's kicked in his career, but I'm tipping it's not a lot. He's just got the one, so this could double it, Joel. Thank you.
He can kick them. He kicked 6 in an under-18 game last year, Berkey. playing across half-back in the wing. After the siren, played his under-18 footy here. Knows the ground well. 45 metres out. And the kick fades away to the right-hand side. And the Dogs let an opportunity slip right on half-time. But it was a very profitable second term for them, kicking 6 goals 5 to the Giants, 2 goals 1. And they have turned an 11-point quarter-time deficit into a 17-point quarter-time lead, needing a win to assure themselves of a final spot and keep their destiny in their own hands. The Giants trying to win and win by a margin and push their way into the top 2. 7-7-49 to 5-2-32 at half-time. Goal kickers for the Dogs. Darcy kicked a couple in that quarter. Singles to Williams, to Norton, to Dale, to Richards and to Waitman. For the Giants, Aaron Cadman has 2, both in the opening term. Goals to Hogan, to Kelly and to Tom Green.
The first of 3 consequential games for the top 8 on Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Our experts, a Hall of Famer Nathan Burke and the dual All-Australian Matt Primus. How would you sum up that first half, gents?
Well, I think the Bulldogs would be pretty happy with how they're going. Their inaccuracy has hurt them quite a few times this year, and once again, even though it's only 7 goals 7, they had some gettable shots again in that quarter, and they're dominating territory. It's 35 inside 50s to 23. They're going really well in the clearances, so they probably would be looking to be a couple more goals up, but I reckon overall they'd be pretty happy with that. Where the Giants, like they do all year, they just hang around. They never get blown away in games, even when certain things are going against them. They've lost territory, they've caused a couple of turnovers against them, but they just hang into games, and they have a quarter where they just can get on fire and really dominate on the scoreboard. So whether that'll be in the third quarter, I'm not sure. But the Bulldogs would be saying, yeah, we have their measure at the moment. Our game's in good shape, and there's probably a few more headaches in Adam Kingsley's coach's box than what there is Luke Beveridge.
Yeah, 35-23, the inside 50s in favour of the Bulldogs. They're also tackling really, really well. 44-27 in favour of the Bulldogs. The tackles, their pressure around the contest has been outstanding. The one area in Statland that the Giants are ahead at marks 25-45. So they're chipping the ball around, but not necessarily being really sort of positive with those chipping the ball around. It's can't really find the way that they're getting the ball from one end to the other. When they try and run and handball, not quite working for them because the tackling is really good. When they're chipping the ball around, it's not really in a positive sort of a sense, and that's why I reckon they're down only to the 23 inside 50s in that first half. So getting their hands on the footy, but how they're taking it from one end of the ground to the other, I think Adam Kingsley will be working on that at half time. But I think the Bulldogs, with potentially what's coming, will absolutely take that lead going into half time.
There's no doubt, Bergie, that their tackle pressure of the Bulldogs is what Beveridge would have focused on. The high handball, the Giants, let's get at them, and that's why they can't get their inside 50s, because that is their number one game plan, and they're taking that away from them. And if they have to kick a mark, that's not how they like to move the ball, the Giants. So credit to the Bulldogs.
Joel, you are the local weather expert. We're not really expecting the storm to arrive until 3 o'clock, where this game could well be done by about that point. So if it comes, it will come very late in this game. But you believe that the wind may swing around before the weather arrives.
So if you look at the Bureau of Observations, I'm a bit of a weather nerd, so I like this stuff, Benny. So out at Edenhope, so past Horsham, just a little bit southwest of Horsham, the wind has swung around to the west. The apparent temperature's dropped around 6 or 7 degrees in about 45 minutes. So if that keeps coming, but you look at Stawell, which is sort of an hour and a half away from here, the wind's still out of the north, like it is here. So that storm looks like there's a bit of a rain cell coming across. It looks like it's about at Stawell now, and that according to the Bureau's radar forecast, that will come and be right on top of us just before 3 o'clock.
Okay, so you
That's
want to
good
be
news
ahead
for the
by
game.
then.
Yeah, but
be ahead by then.
That will be in maybe time on in the fourth quarter. So I don't think it will have too much of an impact on this game.
Maybe the wind changes a little bit before that to sort of swing around from the west, so behind us here in the grandstand, as opposed to coming from the north, where the unprotected end at the left-hand end of your radio dial. But yeah, the weather will be a watch as we go throughout the course of the afternoon.
Just an interesting note too. So the Giants down by 17 here at half time. They're 5-4 when behind at the main break this year. They've also won their last 4 games coming from behind at half-time. So they are very good at chasing teams down in the second half.
And they trailed by 29 in the corresponding fixture last year, Benny. They only had 2 goals at half-time. They came out and kicked 6 in the third quarter and ended up winning by 5 points.
So it is something they do and can do. Simon in the York Peninsula of South Australia says, great call, enjoying the finals-like atmosphere, great afternoon of footy. Go Blues, and dare I say it, go Port. That's from Simon, as I said. There's a question about if Lightning suspends the game, where would it leave it? Well, whoever's in front would wait 60 minutes. If we can't get back on, the scores would stand, and that would be the end result. Glenn's in Creswick, which is up the road. He says Storm now looks like it might go around Ballarat. Rulai says, gripping call, ABC crew. I'd like to propose the law of bakeries. The further you travel from a CBD, the better it gets. How do we feel about that?
Yeah, no, I agree with that wholeheartedly.
We do not have enough time for me to get into country bakeries. We don't have enough time on the air this afternoon.
Have any of the ABC crew gotten a grip on some local products? I did have a great bacon and egg sandwich this morning. Greg's driving back from Albany to Perth. He says GWS and Toby Green renowned for standing up in big moments. Giants to pull away in the second half for me. Annie in Queanbeyan says Bonton T. Green, I'm assuming that's Tom Green, particularly with the Queanbeyan connection, crashed into one another. Bont hurt his jaw. It seemed enjoying the game, and nervous blue bagger, go the Giants. So there is a lot for us to look out for in this match. We might take a breather, look at the radar, look at the live ladder, and we will come back with the second half of the first of 3 in a dramatic final day. Right now it's news time on the ABC.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. 4 people, including a police officer, have been injured in a crash and stabbing at Engadine in Sydney South. Chantel El-Curry reports.
Emergency services were called to the intersection of the Princess Highway and Old Bush Road after a 2-car crash at about 9 o'clock. Witnesses have described a man in a blood-stained shirt banging on their car windows. Police say the man was running from the scene of the crash when they arrived before he was tasered and arrested. A police officer sustained a serious laceration to his wrist during the arrest, and a female passenger in the crashed car has multiple wounds. A 4th person has also been injured. The police minister says there's no ongoing threat to the public. The Princess Highway is closed in both directions and people are being advised to avoid the area.
After 8 years in the political wilderness, the country Liberal Party has had a landslide victory in the Northern Territory election. Roxanne Fitzgerald with the details.
They've promised to stamp out crime as soon as possible. They'll be reintroducing spit hoods, lowering the age of criminal responsibility, strengthening bail laws, building new prisons. The new Chief Minister, Leah Finocchiaro, even said that she'd be meeting with the Police Commissioner today, and she also said it was just such an honour to be in this new position.
This result represents a turning point in the Territory's future.
So how long it takes for these massive changes to take effect remains to be seen.
German authorities say police have arrested a man suspected of carrying out a mass stabbing attack in the western city of Solingen that left 3 people dead. German media reporting the man handed himself into police, saying, "I'm the one you're looking for." Speaking before the latest arrest, the German Interior Minister Nancy Faeser urged the country to unite against violence.
I urgently appeal to those who want to stir up hatred from this terrible act, not to be influenced by it. This society must stand together, especially in such difficult hours.
French media are reporting the Russian-born founder of the Telegram messaging app, Pavel Durov, has been arrested. The BBC's James Reid has more.
The arrest of Pavel Durov has not been publicly confirmed by the authorities, but officials have told French media he was detained on a warrant for alleged offences related to Telegram. The encrypted messaging service has hundreds of millions of users worldwide. Its commitment to privacy has made it the ideal communication system for criminals of all kinds, from drug traffickers to terrorists. Mr. Durov left Russia a decade ago after refusing to shut down opposition voices on another social media platform, which he sold. The 39-year-old billionaire has since been living in the United Arab Emirates, but also has French citizenship.
2 astronauts stranded on the International Space Station won't be able to return to Earth until February next year. Butch Wilmore and Sonny Williams were meant to spend 8 days on the ISS as part of a test flight for Boeing's Starliner aircraft. But problems with the Starliner mean it's not safe to return them in the capsule and will instead return to the Earth on a SpaceX Crew Dragon. NASA's Associate Administrator Jim Free says they won't risk the lives of the 2 astronauts.
Our focus is on safety all the time, and this certainly is no different. We'll learn from this effort so that our crews, who are at the top of the pyramid on these missions, and their families can continue to know we've done that and we'll always do our best.
In Tasmania, state-owned electricity company Tas Networks says it'll help farmers affected by ongoing power outages pay for generators amid an ongoing industrial dispute. Isabella Podwinski has more.
The Communications, Electrical and Plumbing Union is calling for Tas Networks to pay its maintenance workers the same as their interstate counterparts. As part of their industrial action, union members are refusing to restore power during outages. Tas Farmers Chief Executive Nathan Kalman says farmers are among the 250 electricity customers without power around the state.
In some cases, this is impacting small farming businesses at a time when they can't really afford it.
Tas Networks Chief Executive Sean McGoldrick says while the company has a limited supply of generators, it will cover costs incurred by farmers to fuel or hire their own.
And an historic jersey won by American baseball star Babe Ruth in the 1932 World Series looks set to sell for more than $75 million. The jersey's up for auction in Texas. During Game 3 of the series, Ruth famously pointed at the field before hitting a home run in the 5th inning. The often imitated cold shot is one of the most iconic moments in baseball history. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
Here's my top footy tip for the season. You can get your games live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app. I know, right? AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever footy you're after, we've got you covered. Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports' expert commentary team. Game, set, bingo! This season on the home of 100% pure footy. The ABC Listen app.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Bailey Dale into a trot, attacking edge of the square, sets it up, rides the breeze and rides it through. Dogs in front.
We'll toss back in. Off Bontempelli at the stoppage, off to Richards, who just cruises through. And slams a goal at the scoreboard end. Dogs fans loving Artie Jones back into the team to Ugle-Hagan. Kicks to full forward. Taylor comes across, dropped the mark. It spills away to Williams. 4 on the bounce for the Dogs, who are really snarling in this second term.
Throw in 10 metres around from that right hand behind post. Drops short on the breeze. Darcy takes it out of the ruck. Snaps on goal. Floats it through. He's a unicorn.
There's a run of 5 unanswered goals to the Bulldogs, and they'll come out of the middle once more here, the Giants. Peatling whacks it inside the forward 50. Hogan in the pack, bashed away from him, picked off by Kelly, dribbles it toward goal, 2 in a minute.
Picked up quickly there by Treloar, gives it off to McRae. Now to O'Donnell, kicks inside 50. Norton just waiting, standing down. Then marks it on his chest. 25 out directly in front. Now Plum in front. Norton comes in and whacks it through. The game and a position in the 8 is in the Doggies' keeping.
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
A September shaping Sunday here on ABC Sport. 3 games back to back to back, all with consequence for the ladder as we head in to a month of finals. Who will be there? Will Fremantle have anything to play for later this afternoon? Fremantle, they need GWS to win or Carlton to drop their game against St Kilda. Half-time in this fixture, it is the Western Bulldogs leading by 17 points. It's been a sunny afternoon. The sun has just disappeared. We have a storm that is on its way. When will it arrive in this contest? 7-7-49 plays 5-2-32. The Western Bulldogs lead. The Bulldogs, if they win today, they will secure a place in the 8 won't have to wait on other results. They will also secure a home final. So there was a question about where that game would be played. We believe at the MCG is where that game would take place against Hawthorn. GWS, if they win today, they will need other results to go their way, like Fremantle winning. But if they win, they give Fremantle something to play for. And then if Fremantle beat Port Adelaide, the Giants would complete a New South Wales lockout of the top two. Okay. A couple of things that I just want to get to. Just quickly, Matty Primus, you are the perfect man to ask about this. So, a story during the week that I think Glenn McFarlane at the Herald Sun broke around the Barassi medal for the Premiership captain. And they've announced that this will be retrospectively awarded. And my understanding is that it will go to the club captain. So someone like yourself, who was the Port Adelaide club captain, but wasn't there on grand final day, would receive a Barassi medal. Is that something that would please you? Would you would enjoy to receive, or how do you feel about it?
Yes, I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I'm probably a bit old school, and the 22, or nowadays the 23. The 22 are out there, get the medal. Look, I love the idea of the Barassi, naming it after Ron and what he's done for the game, but I'm probably a bit of the old school, the people who go out there on the day and get the job done are the ones who get rewarded. I know in American sport, it's the whole squad is given something in most of their sports, but I'll probably continue the way it is. But anyhow, let's the powers to be will let them make that decision. Yeah,
we'll wait and see. So you're not. I don't think you want to say, look, I don't want it, but it is interesting to hear you a little bit reticent.
Yeah, a little bit. Just purely, we've got our reunion, our 20-year reunion next week, and we'll have everyone who was involved in the day being there. But I think that the people who played on the field are probably the ones who feel the most a part of it, and maybe that's just a bit of old school of me thinking about it. But I'd be reticent to accept it.
Interesting. I mean, the other one we all think of is obviously Bob Murphy, who played such a big role in the Western Bulldogs premiership triumph, but wasn't out there on grand final day, and we saw Luke Beveridge hand him his medal. There is a story that I've been told by Kane Corns about your pre-season camp in 2004, and he told me that you guys were climbing up some kind of hill or mountain and doing some hike, and basically you're most of the way there, and the coaches and a lot of the group said, look, it's a bit dangerous, we don't want to lose anyone to an injury, and essentially you grabbed your bag and said, boys, stuff it, we're going to the top, and just took off and started walking. And that became the symbolic moment for the year, that a group that had been there or thereabouts, hadn't gone all the way, was able to. Did that happen? I know it's probably difficult for you to say, but how do you recall that?
The story's growing in value. I'm not sure that was a key reason for what we did, but look, it did happen. We were knackered, and I think we got a bit lost, and we had a couple of big days beforehand, so everyone was a bit tired, and I didn't want to go back down because my knees couldn't handle it, so I wanted to keep going up, and then we could slide down the rocks and have a swim. So, that did happen. But look, some really good memories of that year, and as I said, we've got our reunion next weekend, so it'd be good to catch up with most of the fellas and see who's aged and see who hasn't aged out of them all.
Any medals for losing grand final captains? Any?
Nope. No, unfortunately not. Sorry, Berkey.
Okay.
We can invent one. We can make that the Nathan Burke medal.
I'm trying to think of a renowned loser. Ron was a renowned winner of grand finals. Who's lost at most grand finals?
Oh, jeez.
There's a question for
we'll find that out.
That'll light up soon.
Just on the... it is interesting. I mean, we initially thought maybe the Premiership Cup could be like the Larry O'Brien or the Lombardi Trophy, the NBA and the NFL, and we could have the Ron Barassi Cup, but seemingly the man himself didn't want that. He said, look, I don't feel like the Premiership Cup should be named after any individual. And as Corbin Middlemass pointed out rightfully on Friday night, we could have a situation where if the Premiership captain on the day wins the Norm Smith medal, they could be leaving with 3 medals around their neck because it's not, they won't receive a different medal, they'll get 2 on the day. So that is a little bit strange, but nevertheless. Sunday footy here on ABC Sport.
The Google machine's telling me Jack Titus lost 6 grand finals.
Okay, well, I'll have a Titus medal, thank you very much.
It's got a nice ring to it, actually. It has.
6, that hurts, doesn't it? 6
I like
grand
it.
final.
6. Renee Kink medal for the losing captain, says Lee in Glenorchy, down in Tasmania.
Could also be the Reynolds medal. So Dick Reynolds lost 5 as a player but 7 as a coach and 4 of those as captain.
We did have it proposed earlier on in the year by our very own Mark Murphy, who was, he's got his fingers in a lot of pies, Mark. Very well-connected man, the top end of town, and he was working with a Melbourne-based jeweller for a premiership ring for all and sundry involved at the club. So who knows where we'll go, but let's turn our attention back to the footy because this is hot. The Giants, 5-4 when behind at half-time, including their last 4. So they love to chase teams down. It has got dark and gloomy here at Ballarat. We've got a storm coming, the first of 3 consequential games on a September-shaping Sunday. The Doggies by 17. And their second half underway. You're with Joel Peterson.
Yeah, this weather's just got a bit of a foreboding feel about it at the moment. The Giants will get things moving to start us off. Briggs kicks high up toward half forward, bounces around. Dale takes it. He runs straight into Kieran Briggs, who grabs him and shoves him to the turf. The Seagulls have flocked in here at half time as well from nearby Lake Wendouree. Up it goes. Briggs wins it down, but Liberatore kicks it up in the air. Goes about 15 metres, then starts to put itself into reverse, does the Sherrin. Nice handing work there from Williams. Cruising through the stoppage, got it off to Ugle Hayden. Oh, well done from Waitman. Handball was clever. Williams goes back in, back to Waitman, throws it on the boot. Misses to the left-hand side, minus score. Dogs push that margin out to 3 straight kicks a minute into the third term.
Had a little bit more time then, threw it on the boot. Potentially could have handballed to a runner beside him, but a drop pump would have been a better option.
Giants away down the wing. Himmelberg kicking around the brick factory wing. It tumbles out. And a throw-in to come. Half-forward flank here for the Giants. They do have the breeze in this third term. And the question is, will it swing around? So northerly at the moment. Will it change as the weather arrives?
No spare plays in defence for the Dogs and no major positional changes so far.
Dogs lead it by 18 points. Anthony in Wild Dog Valley says, to be fair, Titus won 2 flags as well, which is a valid point. As English taps it down. Liberatore coming through, squeezes a kick. Ugle Hagen marks on the logo.
Got to go.
On the wing, he just pokes it forward in the end, Berkey, and he finds Adam Treloar, who gives it back to Jamara. Low kick inside the forward 50s, an absolute bullet. Looking in the pocket there for Artie Jones. Buckley going back there. Bontempelli with a half tackle just ushers him across the boundary line. It'll be thrown back into play. Downstairs, Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Yes, I love your concern about the weather up there in the haberdashery department, while down here in the hardware department we're putting on layers upon layers. The wind has just swung a little bit, and it's certainly not as ferocious as it was at the start of the game.
Might have a little bit of cover from the grandstand there, Kaiser, but not much, unfortunately. English wins it down inside forward 50 for the Dogs. Handball to Treloar, who handballed it back into the face of Tim English. Darcy Jones comes out for the Giants. Burrows in after it. Handball out, cut off by Dale. Back to Williams for the Dogs. 55 out. Drills his kick onto the chest of Darcy. Lunging forward, paid the mark low down. No. Umpire's way, play on. It was a bump ball.
You're trying to claim it.
And Cameron Dawes says that'll be a ball up.
Yeah, everybody stopped and just waited. Let me have a look at it. No.
You're not walking there, are you, Berkey?
No.
Waitman roves it off the hands of the pack, gives it off towards Treloar, buffeted off his kick by Ward. And now close to the boundary line, it's out. We'll get a throw in.
Good pressure there by the Giants defenders. Waitman was almost out. Treloar was almost out. Good lunging tackles.
See things swirling around the ground.
There's a bubble machine down here for the kids to play with, so that's giving us a really good indication of the wind.
English slaps it down in the forward pocket for the Dogs. The Giants try to smack it out of there. Jones gathers, gives it off to Tom Green. High mongrel punt towards half forward. Cadman and Lobb, both with hands on it. Now it hits the deck. Bramble picks it up for the Dogs. Cadman punches it forward. Toby Green, clever little kick. Oh, Hogan drops it. Time to recover. Will snap on goal on the breeze. And float it through for a minor. Brings it back inside 3 straight kicks, 17 points. The Dogs' advantage. Gazza says another great call, guys. All ears while driving the road train. Go the Blues.
Sure, Gazza pulled over to send that text as well. Here's Bramble coming inside the defensive 50 through the hands of Lobb at half-back. Cadman off hands. Handball forward to Perryman. It's Jones. Had it, lost it for the Giants. Daniel goes in for the Dogs. Extricating hand pass from Lobb. Bounces its way in front of Liberatore, who knocks it on, then keeps on moving. Just drove the legs forward. But the Giants will come back up with it. Sweeping hand pass comes from Perryman. Up to meet it was O'Donnell, now along the boundary line. Cleverly done, Geray to McRae for the Dogs. Kicks along the broadcast side wing. Darcy back with the flight, can't mark. Taylor just shoved Waitman off it, takes possession, hands off to Whitfield.
Whitfield kicks out towards half forward. Harvey Thomas can't take the mark. Bailey Dale worries him out of it, goes and gets it ground level. Will poke it back inside defensive 50, not the distance. Bramble runs away with it, stabs it short. Good kick. Away to Caleb Daniel. Half-back flank. So that's strong northerly. Giants kicking with it in this term. Daniel kicks up to the wing. Briggs outpoints English. Giants back in possession. Neutral territory on the Brick Factory wing.
Yeah, poor kick by Daniel there. You expect better from him.
Briggs whacks it inside the forward 50. Liam Jones puts his fist through it. Big tackle from McMullen. Not giving an inch as soon as the footy was taken there by Caleb Daniel. Have a ball up inside 50 for the Giants at the showgrounds end of the ground here in Ballarat. 7-8-50 the Dogs, 5-3-33 the Giants. 5 gone, third term on ABC Sport at the stoppage. Bramble cruises away, rolls onto his right boot. Does the man from Sunbury, kicks down the line, straight into the path of Jack Buckley, who's marked it in front of the wing for the G-men.
First half played in bright sunshine here. It has got gloomy. Storm on its way. Callaghan for the G-men. Sets it up towards full forward. Briggs in English. Brings it down English. Towards Richards. Treloar run down. Holding the ball. Toby Green. He's caught his former inaugural Giant. And he'll go back. Breeze at his back. Mark set 40 metres out. Looking at a captain's goal.
It's a great effort by Toby Green to run down from behind, but I want to see the Western Bulldogs forwards up the ground in better position, because Troy looks up and says, "You're all too close to me." He ends up taking 2 extra steps, and that's what gets him caught.
Averages 3 goals a game against the Dogs, most against any opponent. He pokes it awkwardly and misses out to the right. What was he trying to do there, Berkey and Matty?
Just trying to ride the breeze and let that do all the work for him instead of kicking through the ball. But they've started well here the first 4 or 5 minutes. Their tackle pressure is up. They're running. They're harassing the Bulldogs a lot more than the first half, and hence getting a bit of territory on them.
Dale shoots the pass to Richards on the numbers of the defensive 50. Handball back to Dale, now to Geray. Kicks down the line, almost to Buckley again, but they come up with it, the Dogs. The opposite 44 English doing the ground level work. Hands off to Waitman, to Williams. Kicks inside the 50. Oh, Norton straight through his hands like a cake of soap. He was in position A1 and stone cold dropped it. The Giants bash it up the outer side wing. Thomas had a play at it. Dale along the boundary line to Williams, who shoved out centre of that outer wing, and Aaron Norton would take that 99 times out of 100 inside the 50.
Yeah, his direct defender slipped over, so it was an easy one, but he felt the pressure and a missed opportunity.
Just haven't liked the big key forwards today. Even that long kick down there before, it was Waitman actually got himself for the long kick down the line, and he's got to go against Buckley. Where are the tall fellas? There's 3 of you. One of you has to be that get-out kick.
Immediately at the conclusion of this game, we'll send you to Carlton and St Kilda. As the Dogs applying the pressure, Ugle-Hagan steals it with the tackle. Off to Waitman, to Bontempelli. The Rolls Royce. He finishes. The bunt is brilliant. Again, he puts them on his back. And the Doggies lead by 22. They kick one into the breeze. 8-8-56, players 5-4-34. 8.5 minutes into the third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
There's not many blokes out in the field there today that can actually put that one through on the run from 45 into the breeze. It landed the metre over the line. Good tackle by Ugle-Hagan and Libba. Waitman, very good handballing. But he's the man you want that ball hands in.
Yeah, Callaghan, who's got the run with roll with him, was just a little bit off. Gave him 2 or 3 metres off the turnover and then was able to get it back up. And He hasn't had a huge possession day for his normal standards, but geez, he's been effective when he's got his ball in the hand, and he just showcased it then.
Stormy day like today with rain coming, there wouldn't be too many that'd take the Rolls Royce out on a Sunday, Benny, but the Bulldogs certainly have, and it's paid dividends. Yes. Here's the Dogs again. Treloar kicks inside forward 50. Too windy for our friend Luke Ball today, that's for sure. Jack Buckley coming off half back. He's almost turned it over, tried to force it to Keith. Big pack on the front edge of the square. And a ball up. Let's go downstairs to Kozer on ABC Sport.
Yeah, some issues for the Giants at the moment. Briggs has come off with the right shoulder. The physio is treating him at the moment, but he's really cradling it.
He looks in a bad way down there. He looks in a bit of pain.
Yeah, Kiefer's gone into the ruck. Will that be a story for the finals? Perryman kicking as long as he can, looking for Capman. Clatters into O'Halloran. They go to ground. Allow the Dogs to come in. Duray under pressure, though. Lobs down Saw. Cradling a wrist. Maybe an elbow or an arm in his lap as he trudges off. Yeah, certainly. From the ball up. Comes down to ground level. Kelly getting it out for the Giants. To McMullen. Loses it. Has to slap it away. Spits out towards McNeil for the Dogs. A high kick around the edge of their centre square. Punched away by Taylor. McRae's there for the Dogs, though. He'll kick them long inside 50. Ugle-Hagan. Got it! 35 out, slight angle, breeze to contend with.
Yeah, great kick by McRae. The Giants player on Ugle-Hagan had taken up the front position, which is the right spot when the ball's going to hold up in the wind, but it was just got that extra 5 metres to his advantage. Now needs to capitalise.
He's been on a hot streak, and this curls nastily away to the right. Just sneaks through for a minor score in the end.
Yeah, they're just smashing them on the ground. It's plus 15 in ground balls for the game and about plus 10 for this quarter. So every time the ball hits the ground, they are just hunting in numbers and getting the ball away from the Giants, which is normally their game plan.
23-point margin the way of the Dogs, and they're just going to try and lock it in their front half here. Fraser comes across to O'Donnell in the centre of the ground. Swings it wide to Williams. Game 150. He's got a goal to his name. He's had an impact. He's owned that brick factory wing. Sells a little bit of candy to Toby Green, who wasn't buying it, and the kick holds up in the breeze and just floats its way to Kellen Ward, who accepts the mark to his chest. He pops it on over the top to the run of Whitfield, who had 25 before half-time, and he's had his 6th disposal here in the term already. Kicks inside the forward 50. Jones and Hogan's the one-on-one he was targeting. It's run across the boundary line by Harvey Thomas, and in front of the new LED scoreboard, it will be tossed back into play. 23-point margin, Dogs ahead. 12 minutes played, third term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. A big Sunday with finals ramifications written all over it. St Kilda Carlton to come this afternoon. And then Fremantle and Port Adelaide. You can get all those games on the ABC Listen app no matter where you are right around the country. Toby Green's gone the wrestling move on Tim English there at the stoppage. The two were entangled and Green tried to upend him. Giving away a bit of height and size was Toby, but no endeavour. Whitfield drags Gallagher down. And we'll have another stoppage still inside forward 50 for the Giants.
Up it goes, no decisive tap. The Giants turn tacklers quickly. They'll do it again. Neither ruck, decisive again. Tom Green hanging around. He can't come away with it. Holding the ball, free kick. Or dumping tackle, in fact.
No, holding the ball. He said he lifted his arms up to get his hands free to tackle, but didn't go through with the handball.
I saw him pay holding the ball, and then he moved his arms around. I thought he was saying dumping motion, but yeah, got your arms free and just get rid of it.
Which is a big call by the umpire, saying you got your arms free. You should have got rid of it. You didn't have prior, but you managed to get your arms free.
So McMullen with the free kick. Wind will assist. He puts it in front of the goal mouth. It should push it through. He'll lark out to the 50. Rides it on the breeze and swings it through. A giant goal for GWS. It's back to 17 points. 8-9-57 plays, 6-4-40. 14 minutes into the third. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Nathan Burke and Matt Primus, your experts.
Yeah, just the free kick was probably there. Once he hit the ground, he didn't have much intention to try and get rid of the ball, just pretending to try and get it out, and a beautiful finish. But they're just hanging around. The Bulldogs seem in control, but the Giants, just when they need a goal this whole match, they've been able to hit the scoreboard just to keep themselves within striking distance. And what they've done over the last month, they've been able to stay in games, and then overrun teams. And it'll be a really important 10 or 15 minutes here for the Bulldogs to keep this margin before they can come home with the breeze.
So the bounce down in the middle. The Giants starting to lay down the challenge. Bontempelli dispossessed in the centre of the ground. Callaghan comes away with it for the Giants. Hand pass forward. Bounces its way to O'Halloran at left half forward. Feeds it back to Kelly. Fleet of foot on the outer side. Spins around and kicks around his body. McMullen did way to knock it away from Dale. And it'll be tossed back into play. Downstairs on ABC Sport for us is Ian Cohen.
Yeah, someone turned the lights off. The dark clouds are coming over your left shoulder at the moment. And there's a slight amount of precipitation.
Yeah, the showers are here. So the big rain cell is still about a half an hour away, but the showers have arrived here in Ballarat.
The lights aren't on, though. Someone needs to flick the switch.
Does this add to the complexion and the complexity of this game?
And the final day.
Yes, absolutely. The ball in did fall a little bit short. Had 3 or 4 mil of rain at Stawell, about an hour and a half from here, in about 20 minutes. So it's not a heap of rain, but it would be enough to be nuisance value for whichever team might need to do a bit of catch-up. Richards tumbles it down the line. Haynes walks it out. Centre of the outer side wing. It'll be tossed back in. It's the Doggies by 17 points halfway through the third.
Keep your text coming too. How are you taking in this final day? What are you hoping for? 0437 774 774. Doggies don't want to be sitting, waiting, watching, wishing. A win will ensure their place. Bontempelli releases McRae. He's run down though, loses it. Giants back involved. Richards goes in. All of this on the wing. Ball not coming out yet. Umpire finally blows his whistle. So just forward of halfway, Brick Factory wing has got very dark here at Ballarat. It was sunny in the first half. Strong breeze all afternoon. Free kick from the ball up. It'll go to Keith. So GWS possession on the wing.
So Keith just playing his third game of the season. Kicks long inside the 50. Toby Green with a big fly. Gets out the back. They keep it alive, the Giants. O'Halloran around the corner. Cut off by Dale, who charges outside the defensive 50 and measures the kick nicely for Gallagher. That was a crucial intervention from Bailey Dale. Gallagher comes short to McRae. One of 4 Dogs to have played an equal record 11 times here. Bailey Williams down the line, turns it over. Jack Buckley intercepts. He's done plenty of that today.
Aaron Norton's got to be stronger and better than that.
Oh, Haynes just kicks a chaos ball into the middle. It might work out. The flying fin. Callaghan onto it. Inside 50 with the kick. And perfect delivery for Hogan. 45 out on a 45-degree angle to the right. And again, if he starts at left goalpost, the breeze should bring it back.
It should. It's a good spot to have a shot from. Just that left, just outside the left goalpost. But going down the other end, Aaron Norton, you just can't get out mark 1-on-1, because what happens is Jesse Hogan gets a shot at the other end.
He's not a long kick, Jesse, even with the breeze. This will be a close run thing from right on the digits. He starts at central and it just fades on the breeze away to the right. Behind, 16 points to the Dogs' advantage. 18 minutes played, third term here on ABC Sport.
Yeah, let off there. That wasn't a tough shot for goal. Just started on the wrong line. And they need to take all the chances that they can at the moment.
Bailey Dale with another aggressive kick out from full back. Darcy and Keith tripped over each other. They were the targets of the kicks, and the ball's worked up to the wing for the Dogs. Gallagher sockers it as far as he can, out into the path of Artie Jones. Can he win the race to the footy? He does. He doesn't quite trap it cleanly. Buckley does enough to see him across the boundary line at the junction of the 50 at right half forward. Out on the Midland Highway wing. Dogs by 16 points. The Giants starting to lay down the challenge, kicking with the advantage of the wind here in this term. And some uncertainty around what the conditions might hold in the final quarter. when we get there. Great to have you with us on ABC Sport. The final Sunday of the regular season as Darcy rips it out of the ruck for the Dogs. Tumbles it inside the forward 50. Darcy Jones takes the tackle. He's caught. And it's going to be a free kick to the Dogs inside 50. And Cody Waitman will take it. There's some news downstairs, Koza.
Yeah, game 42 for the man from Ireland, Callum Brown. He is coming on, and it's Harvey Thomas who has been subbed out into the back row.
I reckon Jesse Hogan's just copped the knock to his elbow as well, Koza, or some kind of arm issue. Just keep an eye on that.
Is he down on the benches at the moment? Meantime, Cody Waitman, after the chase down tackles, got the free kick. He'll kick from 45 metres out. Kick the first of the game with aplomb. This one's going to go right to the line. It's touched through. It held up like it hit a force field in the goal square. 17-point lead to the Dogs. We tick toward time on in the third.
Geez, the SMSs are rolling in. We'll get to those. So many of you just hoping your team and the results will favour your team. Long kick out to the wing, and it will tumble out. We'll get a throw-in on the wing. Neutral territory. That packed brick factory wing. They're on a bank. A natural amphitheatre effect. They're about 20 deep.
You're getting the money's worth today, aren't they? All the players out there.
It's raining in Buninyong as well. Joel Peterson will contextualise that for us. As Tom Green shovels out a handball to Kelly. Kick smothered. Desperation from the Dogs. Ricochets away to Treloar on the wing. Off to Liberatore. Kick holds up in the breeze. Half forward flank. Reaching over the top, Ugle-Hagan. Mark paid to Buckley, though. Giants with it on their back flank.
We can actually see Buninyong, Benny. It's that mountain down to the south. To your right there. The other side. So you got Mount Warrenhype out to the east. And Buninyong down to the south. Of course, the Australian Road National Cycling Championships held around that course for a long time. Steeped in sporting history out there. Giants work it to the wing. Canelio kicks up toward the edge of the 50. Toby Green overran it. And Caleb Daniel was clean. Hands it off to McRae for the Dogs. Whacks it back the other way. Out toward the boundary line again on that outer wing. Waitman kept it alive. Keeps it moving. The knock on from Cody Waitman. Then he goes to ground. Clean hands from Treloar. It's going to be a free kick though, because Cody was dealt with when he didn't have it. And the fans on that hill on the outer side stand and applaud.
He's been good today, I thought. He's been really lively. The ball hits the ground, kicked that early goal, just missed the last one, but he's been the most lively forward on the ground so far.
He kicks it out of bounds on the full. Good on you, Berkey. Stopped him beautifully.
They didn't stand and applaud that out there.
They've just broken down. That kick inside 50 or the top of the 50, they've either been outmarked or that one on the full here. They're letting the Giants off the hook and allowing them to try and get their run game going.
Doggies by 17. Iden with the kick into the centre of the ground. Fraser drops the mark. Coming through. Free kick will be paid to Peatling.
Got numbers forward here.
Peatling off to Whitfield, who kicks to Cabin in the pocket. Lob there with him. It goes over both of them. Tumbles out in front of the big screen in the forward pocket.
Yeah, missed opportunity. I think it was, I'm not sure, the Giant small forward was out all by himself, but he chose to go to Cabin and the ball bounced out of bounds. A missed opportunity for a shot on goal.
A few people on that outer side reaching for the ponchos. Koza told us some light rain. We're in the middle of two blobs of showers, but a bigger sally's coming. Peatling at the stoppage, hooks it around on the left boot to full forward. Lob. Got rid of Cadman, used his strength. The man that Luke Beveridge compared in his press conference this week to some kind of reptile.
What kind?
A salamander. He wasn't sure whether it was a salamander or just a garden variety lizard. He said basically he gets injured and whatever it is, he can just grow it back.
That's a great description, isn't it? A salamander.
He also referred to the AFL as the peak body. He's always good for something a little offbeat. Bevo.
Listening to Rory Lobb during the week on radio, said I wouldn't mind going into coaching. I don't think I'll have the analogies that my coach does, though, because he's got plenty of them. Luke Beveridge, ball tossed in outer wing. Dogs by 17 points, 23 gone third term. They are playing for their spot in the finals this afternoon, the Western Bulldogs. Crunching tackle from Sam Darcy, who did the ruck work. And it's locked up, still across half forward for the Giants.
Yeah, they're winning the contested possession, the Giants, this quarter. They're winning the tackle, so they're having a crack. They're getting dirtier and in and under a lot more than what they did in the first half. Just haven't been able to get the scoreboard ticking over.
So still 17 points. The Dogs are clawing and hanging on Daniel kicks up to the logo on the wing. Norton, a relieving mark. He'll kick the Dogs to half forward. It hangs in the breeze. Iden can't take it under pressure from Jones. Jones does well to force a throw in. Ian Cohen.
We're talking about Luke Beveridge today. He goes past the great Ted Whitten in games coached at Whitten Oval. So 229 for Luke Beveridge, and he is receiving a lot of congratulations as he walks through the crowd.
Also the most wins, most finals wins, and best win percentage. So truly a Dogs great now, Luke Beveridge.
All tossed back in. Briggs wins it down for the Giants. Liberatore there, ever the extractor, number 2 clearance player in the competition, and it's out for another throw. And you think about the pressure he was under at the start of the year, and he's been under over the last couple of years. It's been a remarkable turnaround for Luke Beveridge and his team. But they may still not get there. They've still got to take care of business, and they lead by 17 points at the 25-minute mark of the third term here in Ballarat. Daniel with the clearance to McRae, hooks it around his body, up toward half forward. Ugle-Hagan did brilliantly, and he spears the kick inside the 50, through the hands of Whitfield, falls to Gallagher, runs into goal and kicks it! Harvey Gallagher's on the board, and the Dogs get out to a 23-point lead again. 9-10-64 to 6-5-41. 25 and a half minutes gone in the third term. Matt Primus and Nathan Burke, your experts on ABC Sport.
It was a fair finish, Berkey, wasn't it? And for the first time, they've been peppering that 50 to 70, but haven't been able to get the ball inside 50 or win the ball. But they were able to bring it to ground, not get outmarked, and then an amazing ground ball and handball receive. And geez, the finish off it was impressive into the win. A lot of guys have been missing from that area of the ground. A great answer back for the Dogs, so they've been knocking on the door but haven't been able to hit the scoreboard. They were then.
So as it stands at the moment, they'll be in the 8, the Dogs, and they will play Hawthorn, 2 of the form teams in the competition. What a matchup that could be. Sorry, Berkey.
No, you're right. I was just going to say it was great that they managed to lock the ball into their forward pocket for a couple of minutes and waste time, but a goal is just an absolute cherry on the cake.
Kind of like when soccer team takes it to the corner flag, just bundle it up out there. All up it. Half forward here for GWS though. Liberatore gathers, gives it to Treloar, kicks for territory to the wing. Buckley punches it away. Haynes gathers. Giants on the wing. Hooks it back from where it came, looking for a mark down there. English punches it away. Toby Green roves. High ball to full forward. Hogan's down there. He'll mark unopposed. Jones slipped over. And Jesse Hogan, 12 metres out, slight angle. Should slot through his second.
Liam Jones just fell over. They weren't even wrestling. They were both, it was just a high ball, top of the goal square, and Jones went to ground. Kills you.
Hogan to keep the Giants coming. The stutter. He whacks it through. The Giants won't go away. He's got a couple. Coleman medalist, and it's back to 17 points. We've played 27 minutes and change in this third term Sunday footy here on ABC Sport. Coming up, Carlton and St Kilda. We get a preview at 3/4 time, but Nathan Burke and Matt Primus.
Yeah, just a crucial. There's been a few guys slip, mainly down the other end of the ground where that turf has been relayed, but an unfortunate slip there. And as you called it, they just hang around the Giants. They just refuse to go away. And if this margin can stay like this, it's going to be an important, amazing last quarter to watch. Isn't it? The Giants are going to have to take some risks, and the Bulldogs will try and own the ball and save the game. An important couple of minutes too coming up. Can the Bulldogs try and get a goal and go in here with their heads well up at 3/4 time, or can the Giants get some momentum?
Still 2:52 left on the clock in this third term. We know the Giants are good for a comeback. Green out of the centre. Tom Green just hacks it forward. Bailey Dale got in the road, but now it's turned over. Darcy Jones picks it up for the Giants. Forward handball, bounces its way to Fraser. How did he get rid of it? Umpire said it was okay. Then Toby Green grabs a hold of O'Donnell, and a ball up inside the forward 50 for the Giants.
Benefit of the doubt there to the Bulldogs. Could have easily been incorrect disposal.
They're piling the pressure on at the moment to try and force their way back into the contest. Callahan at the stoppage, spills out to Richards, jams it on his boot among the pressure. Himmelberg charges it down, can't take the mark. Almost spilt to Tom Green. Now out the back of the stoppage is Kelly. High kick around the body inside the forward 50. Terrific Mark Geray. In the pack, read it beautifully. and takes it within 40 of his defensive goal.
He'll just put his laces through it. Out to the wing. The Giants are there. They spoil each other. Taylor goes down out the back. Himmelberg turns boundary side, runs it out. Throw in on the wing. Still 2 minutes to three-quarter time. 17 points the Doggies lead. Question about what would happen if the Storm arrives and the game's suspended. Well, after half-time, so the score would stand when they go off. They'd wait 60 minutes, then call it off. Tap down by Briggs, off to Kelly. Floats it to half-forward. Jure again. Standing tall in defence for the Dogs. Pokes it out to the last goal kicker. Oh, sorry. 2 goals ago. Gallagher, Dogs' last goal kicker on the half-back flank.
From the Waganya Bears, Berkey, up in the Tallangatta District Football League, Taylor Jure.
Good part of the earth.
Absolutely it is. Long kick up the line. He'll be busy at the MCG, the Bush, this afternoon up at Sandy Creek, that's for sure. Briggs just burrows in after the football. Picked up by Darcy for the Dogs. Kicks inside the forward 50. Gallagher got a fist to it to force it out into the pocket, where it rolls out for a throw-in. Midland Highway side of the ground, out in front of the Brick Factory. 45 metres out from the Bulldogs' goal. They lead by 17 points, needing a win to absolutely assure their destiny in the finals. A loss for the Doggies, and they'll be spectators for the rest of the afternoon.
English takes it out of the ruck, gets it on the boot with a spiral. It goes 30 metres. Mark taken there by Himmelberg. Let's not forget Dockers fans, no doubt, donning the purple. They want the Dogs to lose, either them or Carlton. That gives them a path into the 8. Himmelberg's kick up to the wing, over the back of the pack. Jones mops up for the Dogs. Off to Jure by hand. Jure's kick will come down on the arc. Himmelberg attacks it. Hits the deck. Callaghan there for GWS. Handball away, nearly chopped off by Bailey Williams. Knocks it to the boundary. Throw-in coming between wing and half forward for the Dogs. Ian Cohen on the boundary.
Well, as Nathan Burke requested, the lights have been turned on. However, whoever's working the bicycle needs to pedal a bit harder. They're only just starting to come on now.
Doing a really good job of locking the ball into that half-forward flank. It's been over the majority of this quarter, the Western Bulldogs.
I thought you were going to say they're doing a really good job of pedalling to get the lights going back. Canelio off the stoppage, kicks into the centre of the ground. O'Halloran gets absolutely smothered in the pack. Who's out the back? Who else? Bailey Dale, been prolific. Handballs off to Williams, kicks inside the forward 50. It spills to the ground. Bontempelli gets run down. There's a free kick in the marking contest. And it's going to the Giants. And it is it Briggs or Himmelberg? It's the big fella who hands it off to Finn Callaghan, who bounds outside the defensive 50. Can the Giants get one for the road going into three-quarter time? Kick up toward half-forward, through the hands of Liam Jones. He gave it away to Keith, off to Hogan, kicks inside the 50 to Toby Green. And the skipper's got it just inside the arc for the Giants. And he will kick after the siren.
We've had a shot after the siren for every quarter. Maybe it was well for the last quarter, but so far it is the Giants with one after the siren. Bulldogs know this could be 2.
Dogs missed one to go into half-time. It was Aaron Cadman who kicked the goal in the opening quarter after the bell. Can the skipper get the Giants back to only 11 points in arrears? Kick from just inside the 50. They love it. Who else but Toby Green? And at three-quarter time, it's an 11-point ball game with so much on the line for both of these two teams. Still the Bulldogs ahead, 9-10-64. The Giants 8-5-53. Toby Green with his first goal of the game to join Tom Green, Kelly and Toby McMullen with singles for the Giants. Hogan and Cadman each have a pair. For the Bulldogs, they've spread them around so far this afternoon. Bontempelli kicked one in that term. So too did Gallagher. Goals also to Williams, to Norton, to Dale, to Richards, to Waitman, and a pair to Sam Darcy.
It is every football fan's dream day. A September shaping Sunday here on ABC Sport. It is 11 points the Bulldogs lead as we turn for home. We'll come back with the thoughts of our experts and a preview of Carlton and St Kilda. This is Sunday Footy on ABC Sport.
WORDGURU. Out of Tim Minchin, Zoe Coombsmar and Tom Gleeson, who's best at spelling?
Does anyone really give a hoot about spelling anymore?
Based on the international hit series, join Guy Montgomery and Aaron Chen, challenging Australia's top comedians in a brand new contest of skill.
It's like mixed martial arts, but with words.
And no martial arts.
Guy Montgomery's Guy Mont Spelling Bee.
Watch them squirm.
Stream all episodes free on ABC iView.
This is ABC Sports coverage of the 2024 AFL season. Every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
As the Dogs applying the pressure, Ugle-Hagan steals it with the tackle. Off to Waitman, to Bontempelli. The Rolls Royce. He finishes. The Bont is brilliant. Again, he puts them on his back. And the Doggies lead by 22. They kick one into the breeze. So McMullen with the free kick. Wind will assist. He'll lark out to the 50. Rides it on the breeze and swings it through. A giant goal for GWS.
Yeah, someone turned the lights off. The dark clouds are coming over your left shoulder at the moment. And there's a slight amount of precipitation.
Yeah, the showers are here. Daniel with the clearance to McRae. Hooks it around his body. Up toward half forward. Ugle-Hagan did brilliantly. Then he spears the kick inside the 50. Through the hands of Whitfield. Falls to Gallagher. Runs into goal and kicks it.
Hogan to keep the Giants coming. The stutter. He whacks it through. The Giants won't go away. He's got a couple. Coleman medalist, and it's back to 17 points.
Through the hands of Liam Jones. He gave it away to Keith. Off to Hogan. Kicks inside the 50 to Toby Green. And the skipper's got it just inside the arc for the Giants. And he will kick after the siren. Can the skipper get the Giants back to only 11 points in arrears? Kick from just inside the 50. They love it. Who else but Toby Green?
The 2024 AFL Premiership season.
On your radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And on the ABC Listen app.
So the Dogs leading by 11 points, just resetting the table. Dogs win and they are in GWS trying to win and move into provisional second. The next game up on this Sunday slate is Carlton and St Kilda at Docklands. Corbin Middlemass is ready and raring to go. Corb.
Ben, stakes are simple and easily understood for Carlton and their fans today. If they want to keep playing footy this year, they best be winning here against the Saints today. It is something that hasn't come easily to Carlton in recent times. They have not won a final season game to complete the home and away season in a decade. So they're 9 losses and a draw in that time, which includes a bit of trauma this time of the year, going back to 2022, of course, when Jamie Elliott ran into open goal and denied them a place in September. They obviously bounced back and featured last year. They've had to overcome horrible troubles on the injury front, including today. So there is a late change. Mitch McGovern has been replaced. He's out of the Carlton team. So no Mitch McGovern. Horatio Fantasia comes in. There's no late change for the Saints. The starting subs, Ashton Moyer for Carlton and Hugo Garcia for St Kilda. And Ben, the Saints, they certainly understand their part in all of this. The club putting out a tile this morning for a game day promotion, which basically had Ross Lyon featuring as the Grinch with a headline attached to it, "Will the Saints steal September?" Obviously, they can't qualify themselves, but they can keep Carlton out of it. It's coming up next on ABC Sport.
Thanks, Corb. Great work. He would be helping the side that sacked him, though, in Fremantle, potentially make the 8, though. So, tough decision, perhaps, for Ross Lyon. Our experts here, Nathan Burke and Matt Primus.
Well, Bertie, I like the way the Giants played, and they played a bit more direct than what they had in the first 2 quarters, a lot more kick and then just get the ball in long and deep. But the Bulldogs defended so well. 3 goals, 3, I think that quarter the Giants kicked, and Bulldogs were able to generate 2 goals, 3. And as you mentioned too, Nathan, they were able to kill the game 5 or 6 minutes for periods in the start of the third, and then towards the end just having a lot of stoppages, repeating, taking the scoreboard pressure out of it. So it'd be interesting to see how the Giants go here into the win. The Doggies in the second quarter and the win with the breeze certainly dominated on the scoreboard. So huge 30 minutes coming up.
So much to play for. The Doggies want to ensure their spot. They lead it by 11 at gloomy Ballarat. off the hands of the rucks. Bontempelli taps it to Liberatore with the breeze, tumbles it inside 50 for the Dogs. Bouncing ball, Richards gathers in the pocket, speeds away, kicks on goal. Richards, brilliant. Slick on the left from the tight angle. And it might be a goal that seals September action for the Doggies. 10-10-70, plays 8-5-53, 33 seconds into the final term.
I was trying to think of what's Luke Beveridge's message at quarter time. First one is, the win's not going to do it for you. The things that they've been really good is the stoppages that went in 37-27, 30-18 around the ground, and their contested possessions are 134 to 114. So those two areas are what are going to win this game, and accordingly it was a centre bounce break. Ed Richards just starting forward with a lovely bit of class in the end, but stoppages, contested possessions, that's what will win this game for the Dogs.
He's had an outstanding season, Ed Richards. Kicks his second for a couple of weeks in a row now. And they'll get another clearance here, the Dogs. Daniel to Treloar, to Richards, to Bontempelli breaking through the 50. Handball off to McNeil off a step. And he claps his hands in frustration. So too does his skipper as he misses away to the left-hand side. 3 straight kicks the margin, 10-11 to 8-5. Yeah, a minute and a half into the last.
Yeah, another two easy clearance out of the middle for the Bulldogs.
Perryman brings it in with a long kick for Buckley. Has a lot of it, just drops it last moment. Recovers with the handball away to Whitfield. Runs a full 360 and chips it short to Kelly. He'll kick around the broadcast wing. English opposed to Toby Green. English marks. Dogs back in possession. Jared in Brighton East says, hanging on your every word. Loving this final day. All 3 games here on ABC Sport. English puts his big hoof through it. Long kick inside 50. Ugle-Hagan, lots of it. No mark. Biden roves the pack for the Giants. 1-2 there with Tom Green. Bursts away with it. Handball to Callaghan. He gets around a couple. Just gets the handball to Kelly.
It was clean. Kelly on to Darcy Jones, who now strides inside the 50 and finds the chest of Hogan. 45 metres out. Lays it off to Ward, who's marked at 40 from home. Slide angle right of centre. But as we've seen all day, it's not an easy kick.
Yeah, it's probably the first time we've seen Giants football, isn't it? Handball chains all the way, and the Bulldogs weren't quite able to get enough pressure to force a turnover there, and beautiful kick inside 50 by Hogan.
So Callan Ward, so long the inspirational leader of this Giants team, started his career at the Dogs. Can he keep the G-men in the ball game? He steps up to the plate and misses to the right-hand side. 17-point margin once more. 3 gone, final term. Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Short kick in from Bramble, or Bailey Dale rather, away to English. Gets it back, Bailey Dale, then stabs it for a leading Ugle-Hagan. Buckley spoils. Giants win it back half forward. Kick poked inside 50. Coming from Brown, and a turnover straight to English.
Yeah, that bloke will hardly leave the defensive 50 for the rest of this quarter. They'll get the other tall forwards to come up and ruck sort of in the front half, and he'll mainly sit behind like he has been.
Here's Gallagher. Kicked a great goal in that third term. Bangs it long up the line toward Norton. Out the back is Perryman. Handball to Callaghan. Tried to slip the tackle of Bontempelli. Got away from him and used the 1-2 with Perryman to his advantage. Now Callaghan bursts outside the defensive 50. Kicks it straight up the middle looking for Briggs, who runs down O'Donnell. Good contest between the pair. And a ball up right in the centre here at Eureka Stadium in Ballarat. Dogs by 17 points. 4 gone, final term.
You can see that the Giants are really going to overdo that run and carry through the middle of the ground to try and get themselves back into this.
Treloar with the clearance for the Dogs. It floats and bounces inside 50. Norton shoves Taylor out of the way illegally. Free kick to GWS in the back pocket. Daniel's listening in the Philippines. Says, go Dogs, then go Saints. Big day for...
He's a man after my own heart.
Yeah. Nathan Burke double. Kick up towards the wing. Flying Hogan for the Giants. Doesn't bring it down. Spits out to Ward. Sells some candy. Gets around a couple. He'll kick around the wing. Hangs it in the breeze. No one able to mark it. Jones through his hands. Allows in the Giants. Now they might be out. Peatling Handball to Toby Green. Has Jones, who's quick, running back towards goal. Goes himself, Toby, and kicks the goal. Says, come on. Toby's turning the game, his second.
What a finish.
That is whacked from 50. Toby Green showing us his best stuff. It's back to 11 points. 5 minutes into the fourth.
Yeah, and the Bulldogs' pressure's dropped off. They're folding back. They're not putting pressure on the ball carrier or the receiver, and that's allowing the Giants, like that occasion and the one before when they had their shot on goal, to be able to handball to chain the ball all up the full length of the ground, and there's no pressure on the ball carrier like there had been in the first three quarters. They've got to get back to nailing that ball carrier, otherwise the Giants can score quickly and heavily.
So the last two of the game going the way of the captain, who kicked 5 second-half goals last year to drag his team to victory at this very venue, Toby Green. Can he do it again today? Ever darkening skies here in Ballarat with storms approaching. English with the clearance, kicks a high footy to half forward. Lightning hands from McNeil for the offload inside the 50. Darcy goes to ground for the Dogs. They camp on top of him, ball up. There is a severe thunderstorm warning as well, current for this part of the world, extending up through Maryborough up to sort of St Arnaud way. So those storms are closing in. Tom Green inside the defensive 50. Handball to Callaghan, taken away by Treloar for the Dogs. To McRae, to Giray off a step, nurses his kick into the pocket, looking for Darcy, who had a hold of Taylor. Free kick to the Giants in the right back pocket, down by 11.
Handball away to the run of Haynes. He'll kick up to the wing for the Giants. Brick Factory wing. Giray in good position. Drops the mark. Down at ground level. Bramble there for the Dogs though. Handball to Daniel. Carries it out. Gee whiz. If they can kick the next goal, GWS, they will put the frighteners up, the Dogs.
Already the crowd are a little bit pensive, I would describe them as at the moment. Only 11 points.
Briggs and English. They lock up. Briggs trying to take it out of the ruck. A fumble. Picking it up. Callaghan gives it off to Briggs. Sweeps a handball forward to Tom Green. Cuts back into traffic. Handball to Canelio. The orange tsunami is rolling now. Off to Ward. Might have thrown it back. He was caught. Turnover. Dogs back the other way. Treloar with it.
Forward hand pass finds Waitman. Back to Daniel in the centre square. Just weaves his way through calmly. Shoots the kick out wide to McRae. 80 from home. Left foot kick into the 50. Norton coming across Buckley with a decisive fist. Sees it out of play. Aaron Norton was looming inside the forward 50 then.
Canelio just overdid the running tsunami. There was no one running with him. He just wanted to handball the ball off. A kick would have been a far better option.
11 points the difference. Giants inside forward 50. Nathan Burke, Matt Primus, your expert. Ian Cohen on the boundary. Paul Peterson, Ben Cameron calling the footy for you on ABC Sport. Tossed back in. English had it, lost it. Taken away by Ward. Kick was smothered. Ricocheted back to Ward. Had to get to his feet. Got the handball away to Green. Now Perryman and Iden can blast it up toward the broadcast side wing.
Lob, good mark. Takes it for the Doggies on the wing. Reinvented as a defender. Sets it up inside 50. Looking for Artie Jones. Ward, ever brave, stands in front of him, marks.
Yeah, poor kick, needed to be deeper or more to the boundary, easy to defend. Now it opens up the ground for the Giants.
Handball to Perryman, kicks out to that Brick Factory wing. Bouncing ball, Cabman can't gather. Throw-in coming. Sunday footy here on ABC Sport. Massive continuation after this game. Jenny in North Melbourne says, I'm a Tigers fan, but loving the tension around today. Great calling. Hawks remind me of the 2017 Tigers. Throwing on the wing.
It's high praise indeed. All tossed back in. Dogs by 11 points. Richards jabs the kick inside the forward 50 for the Western Bulldogs. Waitman's up to meet it. Offloads to Liberatore. Flying shot misses to the left. 2 goals the margin. 10-12-72. The Giants 9-6-60. The Dogs can make their life a hell of a lot easier with a win this afternoon. If they don't, they will be very interested onlookers at the remaining 2 games.
Doggies by 2 goals neat. Whitfield thumps it out of defensive 50. Hogan, good grab. Vice-like grip. Has it on a back flank for GWS. 9 minutes, 47 and counting in the fourth. Kicks it into the darkening Arvo sky. O'Donnell punches it away, out of play. Throw in neutral territory right beneath us.
Just got to get a bit better bang for their buck. The Bulldogs going inside 50, 9-2 inside 50s this quarter, but they've only scored the 1 goal.
The breeze has just dropped a little bit as well. Stewart and Bunyan texting in and looking out at the trees. It certainly has. That will favour GWS. You predicted it, Joel, that the wind would drop as the weather arrives. English lays it down for Daniel. Clever handball to Bont on the burst. Kicks inside 50. Swatted away by Iden. Away from Waitman. Throw in right forward pocket for the Dogs. They lead it by 2 goals.
Yeah, good result there. Just get it out of bounds. Allow your defenders to set up their formation behind the footy. Make it difficult for the Giants to get the ball from one end of the ground all the way to the other.
So much riding on every play at the moment. Great rivalry between these two teams. 12-point lead to the Dogs. Tossed back in. Tom Green at the stoppage. Absolutely clinical. Comes away cleanly. Haynes with a hack kick outside the defensive 50. And a terrific mark taken by McNeil, who's had a few important touches already in this term. He spins the red Sharon in his hands. Loads up from 60 metres out. Kicks to full forward. Bontempelli was there. Aaron Norton lost his headband among all of that. Gallagher in from the side. Gave away a free kick. And it's going to Harry Himmelberg on the last line for the Giants.
As it stands at the moment, the Dogs would be locked in the 8. A win will do that for them, but the Giants are fast finishing. Himmelberg back pocket. Driving ball out to the wing. Certainly carrying better now into the breeze. Ward roving the pack. Tackled maybe in his back by Waitman. No, throw it in. Right in front of the Brick Factory. ABC Sport has you covered throughout this Sunday. Carlton and St Kilda to follow. Then Port and Fremantle from out west. Kelly picks it up off the decks. Tumbles a kick towards the logo. Ball ricochets away. Giants are there. Picked up by Cornelio. Handball to Ward. Ward tackled immediately, instantaneously. The umpire comes in to ball it up. Dogs fans on the bank not happy about it. And Cohen.
Lightning and roll of thunder has just come over the grandstand.
Oh, we've already had one game delayed this week. This weekend. That storm is pretty much here. So there's a cell sort of stretching from Ballarat up to the north to Maryborough. And it is right over the top of our heads at the moment. No doubt a watching brief will be kept very closely on that by the AFL officials. Socket off the ground by Cornelio. To McRae, of course, the rule is a minimum intervention of 20 minutes in that scenario, as we saw on Friday night. If there is lightning in the area, within 10 Ks, I think the determination is. Let's go down to Koza again.
Officials down here that have just manned the phones, so stand by. But at the moment, no action.
Ball tossed back in. Tom Green with a play at the stoppage. Perryman scoots away, kicks toward the outer side. Jones was there for the Dogs. He brought it down in defence. He's been good all day, Liam Jones, to Geray, who's quickly tackled and a ball up. 12 points the margin. Dogs ahead halfway through this final term in Ballarat, and the weather is coming.
Slapped down by Darcy. The Dogs wouldn't mind if they went off at the moment. If they stayed off, the score would stand. But here's Toby Green, pressed up against the boundary line, kicking to full forward. Fraser, great defensive grab. Marks at fullback for the Dogs. Kicks laterally.
Important grab there by Fraser. The ball hits the ground there. There's a lot of space top of the goal square for the small Giants players to get involved. But second grab, well done.
Dogs by 12 points, 14 minutes into the fourth. Kick up to the wing. Giants rove the pack through Callaghan. Gives it off towards Himmelberg. A little bereft. Good decision. Chips it short to Kelly. 51 out. Half forward flank. Usually a good user. He'll chisel it to the pocket. Hogan launches through his hands. Back to 11 points. Andy and Bendigo says, is there a chance the Carlton game starts before this finishes? There is a chance, but we're on at the moment.
So you're saying there's a chance?
The Fremantle one could start. There is a patch of blue sky over there. Can we just sort of suck that over this way for at least half an hour?
Right out the top of Mount Warren Heap at the moment. It's the only patch of blue sky we can see. It's been beautiful all afternoon in terms of the optics. Maybe not so much how it feels. Dogs have got it on the wing. Beautiful kick inside forward fifth or into the centre of the ground from Bontempelli. Finds Artie Jones. He's got Norton racing back toward goal and he finds him. Norton plays on and kicks it. And that might do it. 2 for Aaron Norton. And it could be the goal that broke the game open. 11-12-78 the Dogs. The Giants 9-7-61. It's been a struggle, a battle, a fight in this final term. And the Dogs are after a wrench at 3. And Norton gets his second.
Well, I tell you what did break the game open was Bontempelli's kick from the far wing. Artie Jones was sort of almost hiding behind the umpire. He was the only one in the centre square. Bontempelli's 40-metre dart to him just completely opened up the game. Now Norton to run back goal side of his opponent, and a well-weighted kick by Jones. But Bontempelli's vision to not just kick long with the wind was outstanding.
The rains are here as well. That won't help GWS. Free kick in the middle. That will help them. Going the way of the Orange. Ian Cohen.
It's Parkers, anoraks, glad bags, you name it. They are all going on down here. Ponchos the works.
Long kick up to half forward. Darcy in front. Takes the mark defensively for the Dogs. So it is 17 points, 17 minutes into the fourth. The Dogs in the 8 at the moment. Can they secure it?
Good news for the locals is at least they're used to it. Norton out on the outer side, tumbles a kick around the body, looking for Artie Jones, taken by Iden, half forward. Oh, Whitfield's under pressure. Jones came over the top, gave away a free kick a little clumsily. Bail out for Lockie Whitfield. Finds Callahan at halfback. 17 points the margin, the lay of the Dogs. The Giants need to get motoring immediately. Peatling. He sends it up toward half forward. Dale's been in everything this afternoon. O'Halloran takes it away from him though. Now off to Kelly. Kelly inside the forward 50. Brown the target of the kick. Lobb brought it down. Back into the hands of Callum Brown. Runs to the pocket. Kicks to full forward. Yes. Liam Jones. A towering mark at fullback. Goes back with strength and courage and pulls it in at the top of the defensive goal square for the Dogs.
Jones, he's been almighty. His long kick, Whitfield goes up, can't mark. Norton gathers, gives it off to Daniel. Short kick for Jones. Got a shot 50. Haynes gave him a push. And Artie Jones will be marched inside 50.
Yeah, just unnecessarily. It was a good lead by Jones. There wasn't much forward, so he led forward at the kicker, and Caleb Daniel, as he's done for many a year, just hit him straight on the chest, and just an unnecessary push from behind.
So the mark set 40 metres out, slight angle to the right. 17 points is the Bulldogs' advantage. Jones trots in. Boot to ball. Artie starts the September party. The Dogs are in. (12-12-84). Plays 9-7-61. 18 and a half minutes into the fourth. And there might only be one spot up for grabs in the 8. Over to you, Carlton. Nathan Burke and Matt Primus.
It's been terrific all day, the Bulldogs, with their pressure. There was some smart ball work here, but they've just harassed and got at the Giants the whole game. And they're trying to play quicker, the Giants, because they need to try and get the scoreboard ticking over. They are harassing them, causing turnovers, and then they're just being smarter with ball in hand too. It's been a terrific 3.5 quarters for them. Another 9 or 10 more minutes of really smart football, and it's going to be a great win.
If you're in regional Victoria, you'll be getting interruptions during the day of emergency broadcasting. There is a severe thunderstorm warning for much of the western half of the state. So you'll be getting interruptions throughout the course of the day. So a severe thunderstorm warning is a free kick for deliberate in the D50 for the Dogs. For damaging winds, large hailstones and heavy rainfall for people in parts of the Central, Mallee, Southwest, Northern Country, North Central and Wimmera forecast districts. That warning extends from basically Apollo Bay up towards Swan Hill. So it is a pretty broad spectrum of these storms rolling in this afternoon. Dogs clear the defensive 50. Haynes will back it back the other way. And the mark's pulled in by English on the paint of the 50 defensively for the Dogs. 12-12-80 for the Western Bulldogs. The Giants 9-7-61. 20 minutes gone the final term, and the Dogs are looking a sure bet to feature in September.
Kick up to the wing. Haynes drops the mark. Arriving quickly, Buckley. He can't pick it up. Dogs are there. Trelaw slips over initially, gets the handball to Richards. Handball away towards Bailey Williams. Nothing he likes initially. Kicks long inside 50. Back there. Himmelberg drops it. Puts his teammates under pressure. Arriving Darcy for the Dogs. Himmelberg goes in again. Coming through. Liberatore. The Sun. He kicks the goal. These are the Suns of the West. And they've got a roll in September. They're out by 29 points. 13-12-90. Plays 9-7-61. 20 minutes into this fourth term on Sunday footy on ABC Sport.
Yeah, they just kept coming and coming, and again, that wasn't a pretty, but that goal was probably synonymous with what you were saying, Matty, around just the pressure. Himmelberg, I think it was, just dropped an easy one, and the Dogs were there at his feet, kept it alive, and who better to put through a scrappy goal to ice the game than Libba?
Yeah, he's been amazing. His stoppage work has been huge. They're 44-33 stoppages. Kicked 5 goals, 8 the Bulldogs to 3 goals. It's been a dominant area they're going today. So
just quickly, as it stands at the moment, we would have a Sydney derby in week 1 of the finals. So the Swans against the Giants. Port and Geelong could theoretically swap places, but they would meet in week 1 of the finals as well. And the Bulldogs would play Hawthorn but be the higher seeded team. Carlton and Fremantle could still change positions.
Good game. Hawthorn and the Bulldogs would beat the Giants and the Swans that have plenty riding on it as well.
4th time they would meet in an AFL final.
0437 774 774. Jack has texted in to say there's massive lightning out at Lake Burrumbeet, about 15 to 20 kilometres away from here to our west, out on the Western Highway, and the power's out. So we've still got 6.5 minutes on the game clock. Koza downstairs.
Well, I got married in Ballarat, so I know the weather can change a lot. And behind us now we have a Simpson-esque blue sky with clouds.
Yes, it is the 4 seasons in one day kind of weather this afternoon. Tom Green at the stoppage for the Giants. The Dogs have got the ascendancy in the ball game, and whatever wind there is, they're kicking with it at the moment. But proverbially and literally, English hoists it high inside the forward 50. Darcy brings it down. Artie Jones is there. Whitfield spins through a tackle, got it away to Himmelberg, taken by Daniel to get another for the Dogs. They're running rampant now. And they are running toward a finals berth against the red-hot Hawks. 14-12-96 to 9-7-61. 23 gone final term, and about the only thing now that can stop the Western Bulldogs might come from above.
Yeah, just another scrambling goal. Both of those last goals, you can't blame the wind or anything like that. It's just the ball's on the ground, and the Bulldogs far better structured around the contest. The players on the inside, players on the outside. That time it was Caleb Daniel, and the ball's below his knees. He very rarely fumbles, and smart kick and just dribbled it through. So really good structure when the ball hits the ground for the Western Bulldogs.
So it's blown out late. They lead it by 35, the Doggies. Waitman in the middle gets the clearance off the hands of Keefe, kicks inside 50. Free kick to the Dogs. I think Artie Jones is going to be the recipient.
Yeah, just got pulled back by his opponent and made it look slightly worse than it was. But yeah, just a shove from his Giants opponent, and he's kicked a goal from this spot already. Should be confident.
Reminder that at the end of this game, we'll send you out to Docklands for Carlton and St Kilda. Threadbare, what's left of Carlton up against the Grinch line, trying to steal September. Jones has already got 1 goal in this 4th term. Comes in here and tugs it left. Minor score. So they lead by 6 goals neat. to the Western Bulldogs. 14-13 plays 9-7. And they will qualify 6th on the AFL ladder for the finals.
Really healthy percentage as well for the Dogs. Over 120. By virtue of having so many large wins and not really any massive losses throughout the course of the season for the most part. A couple in the 40-point bracket, but nothing wider than that. On the wing now, Liam Jones goes to ground. And the footy's dragged in under him, and we will have a baller. Centre of the outer wing. It's been a tense, tight affair all afternoon. The Dogs have broken it open here in this final term. English rises above the pack and just belts it forward as far as he can out toward Gallagher for the Dogs. Soccer off the ground, hit Waitman on the chest, but he couldn't mark. Waitman goes back in, hands it off to Gallagher, who breaks clear. Harvey with a bounce through the 50, chips inside the arc, looking for Artie Jones. Himmelberg had it through a big fist at it, didn't quite connect, and now they bash it outside the defensive 50, the Giants through Cadman, but it's coming back in. Rory Lobbs marked in the centre circles.
Moves it out to the wing, out in front of Dale, waits for the bounce to sit up, sells some candy, slips over himself. Time to steady and kick neatly infield onto the chest of Richards. Ed Richards looking at a congested 50. Drives it long. Waitman will run and jump off hands through for a minor score. And now out by 37. Sunday footy on ABC Sport. Just repeating, the Dogs will secure 6th. GWS will finish 4th and face Sydney in a crosstown rivalry in week 1 of the finals.
Himmelberg drives it in. Soccer off the ground. He's paid insufficient intent, which was a hot favourite to get the call there, that's for sure. And the fans out on that hill in front of the brick factory are very happy with that.
I'll just make that a rule. If you kick it off the ground and it goes out of bounds, it's a free kick.
Pretty maturity is.
Pretty much is. Might as well formalise it.
Bramble to half forward. Hugo Hagen. Wouldn't be like the AFL to change rules throughout the middle of the season, though, Berkey. Come on. The peak body. Tom Green, kick was smothered. There's a free kick off the footy going to way of Stephen Canelio. In fact, it is going to Tom Green. Canelio's been a welcome return to the side over the last couple of weeks for the Giants. He'll have a role to play in September. They'll get Lockie Ash back, of course, from suspension. No Daniels today, no Bedford as well. So a few to come back into this Giants team, but they've looked a long way from it here in this final term.
Away come the Giants with the footy. It does seem a little too late. Dogs pinch it back anyway. Bramble. Handball to O'Donnell. Forward handball to the run of Gallagher. He can send it long. Norton's out the back. Back leading, he marks. Left forward pocket. 25 metres out. Tight angle.
Yeah, they've just pulled the Giants apart with their pressure and their handballs around the contest. And they get at them, and once they get at them, their ability to spread with their handballs and release a good kicker. And now the forward line's really opening up with the Giants going more one-on-one rather than having spares.
To put the cherry on top, the right foot snap is shocking. Out of bounds on the full. So the Giants to get it back in the left back pocket. Still 37 points, the Dogs' advantage.
How dangerous can they be in September, the Dogs, Berkey?
Oh, very dangerous. Very dangerous. You wouldn't want to come up against them. Their back line is settled now. Their midfield on their day are as good as any. And, you know, that forward line's going to give you headaches because it hasn't just been the big fellas. Waitman's been outstanding. Artie Jones in his first game has been really, really good. Harvey Gallagher is really lively down there, McNeil. So if they don't get you in the air, they've been outmarked in the forward line. Giants have actually had more marks inside 50, but the small fellas have been outstanding.
Ball tossed back in, across half forward for the Dogs. Kelly paddles it out toward the boundary line. Stays in. Jarray kept it alive. Richards around the body inside forward 50 for the Dogs. Himmelberg there, battered down by Waitman. Iden and Jones crash in. Waitman's dragged off it. Almost came back up with it. Artie Jones goes once more. Buckley bashes it back out toward the boundary line. Iden has a go. Run over by Richards. And a free kick. And Matty, do you think the Giants can bounce back? Can they still have a say in how things shape out in September?
Oh, they certainly can, but their style of footy relies on them to have one good patch, a good quarter here and there. They give teams too much leeway at times, and then they come back for 30 or 40 minutes, and they haven't been able to do that today. So you're not going to be able to do that in finals, so they need to be a bit stronger for longer.
Dogs with it on the wing. Handball from English away to Hugo Hagen. His kick chiseled back towards half forward. Hugo Hagen goes back and gets it. Rolled in a tackle, picked up quickly by Callaghan. Loops it over the top to Tom Green. Handball to McMullen. Handball further afield to O'Halloran. His granddad, played for the Bulldogs many years ago. Gives it back to Callaghan, off to Tom Green. Back to Callaghan again. He'll kick towards attacking 50. Up they go. Lobb brings it down.
O'Halloran, here he is again. Skies the kick into the forward pocket. Jones going back with the flight for the Giants. It's clattered away from him. Lockie McNeil with another important touch, and the ball will be tossed back into play. Right forward pocket on the Midland Highway side. All things told, we've been extremely lucky with the weather this afternoon, considering what's been happening around here. We've been able to see the rain sweeping in across to the south. Reports of big lightning and power outages to the west. Severe thunderstorm warning for much of regional Victoria, so you'll be hearing ABC emergency updates throughout the afternoon if you're listening on local radio in regional Victoria. A big day of footy coming. Carlton and St Kilda to come from Docklands. Port Adelaide and Fremantle at Optus at Perth Stadium to finish it off. The ball bounces outside the defensive 50 and it will be tossed back in. Dogs by 37 points, 31 minutes gone in the final term.
Surprising Bont is still on the ground. I'd be having him with the dressing gown on, keep him warm on the bench.
Umpire flicks it back in. Dogs with the clearance. Hugo Hagen's kick overran there by Waitman, picked up by Himmelberg, gives it off to Whitfield. Short kick. Can't find Peatling. Bontempelli arrives. Fraser receives it from the Bont. He gives it back to him. He'll kick out towards the wing, and Artie Jones can take it. Has Hugo Hagen streaming back towards goal. The kick doesn't quite get there. Iden punches it away. Tumbling ball onto it there. Iden tackled quickly by Norton. Ball spits out. Dogs in possession. McRae gathers the footy. Handball away to McNeil. Eureka! 4 points worth its weight in gold for the Dogs. They secure September action. They'll finish 6th. While for the Giants, they'll face the Sydney Swans. The Dogs, they win by 37 points. The song, not quite sharp. Here in Ballarat. Here it is. Sing along, Dogs fans. So the Bulldogs, they trailed by 11 points at quarter time. They turned that around to a 17-point advantage at the main break, kicking with the breeze. And then they led by 11 at three-quarter time. GWS, they looked like they were coming when Toby Green goaled 5 minutes into the final quarter. But the Dogs kicked the last 4 goals of the game. So Beveridge, under pressure mid-season, he will play finals. Can they make a run from 6th? So they've got going in the second half of the season, the Bulldogs, the goal kickers, Darcy, Ed Richards and Aaron Norton, all with 2. Then singles to Waitman, Bontempelli, Liberatore, Dale, Jones, Williams and Caleb Daniel. While for GWS, their 9 goals comprised of 2 to Toby Green, 2 to Aaron Cabman, 2 to Jesse Hogan, singles to Tom Green, Josh Kelly and Toby McMullen. Now, The kick has been cancelled due to the inclement weather that is coming and the extreme weather warning. But just for GWS, so barring an absolute disaster for Port Adelaide, that's the asterisk that I'll put on this, that they will finish fourth and they will play the Sydney Swans in, they don't like this name anymore, but I'm still rolling with it, the Battle of the Bridge in qualifying final week 1. Nathan Burke, Matt Primus, how can you articulate it for us?
Well, Berkey, Bulldogs were just pretty much had the game in control. I know the scoreboard got a bit close on a few occasions, but it just felt like what they needed to do, the Bulldogs, they dominated stoppages 50-35, which is a smacking, kicking 5 goals, 9-3 goals. They won the ground ball, so they outnumbered, they worked harder. And then all that gave them 69 inside 50s to 45. So they really did have control of the game. The Giants were able on a few occasions to get some multiple goals back-to-back together. But overall, their game plan was pretty strong all day, and the Giants weren't able to penetrate that at all. And probably the thing that impressed me the most was the Bulldogs' pressure, Berkey. I thought they just got at the Giants. I don't know the tackle numbers here, 75, which isn't always the case, but 75 tackles, and a lot of them would have stuck and caused a lot of turnover. So, look, they go into finals feeling really, really strong about how they're going. As you mentioned, their last 2 months has been as strong as football as anybody in the comp.
Yeah, the Giants, it was great summary, mate. It was just harder. The Bulldogs were harder when the ball hit the ground. They worked harder to get to the contest and outnumber the Giants. There were some Giants players, like Whitfield had 42 touches, 25 at halftime. Tom Green had 36 and Callahan had 26. And Richards for the Bulldogs had 29 and kicked 2 goals. Bailey-Dale 27, kicked a goal. Libber 24, kicked a goal. Daniels 23, kicked a goal. Bontempelli 22 and a goal. So I love the way the Bulldogs, it was their midfielders, really worked hard forward. They end up kicking goals. It wasn't their big fellas that they were relying on. So if I'm Luke Beveridge, I'm saying, what do we need rolling into the finals? I need a really hard game where our toughness wins the game. I need our midfielders being threats going forward, scoring, and I need our big fellas to just really do their job. And I thought the defence were outstanding as well. A couple of young fellas down there in O'Donnell and Fraser did extremely well as well. So pretty much all across the ground, the Bulldogs dominated. And Giants were potentially second on the ladder if they win this game. Bulldogs beat them by 6 goals. So when you say, can they win? Absolutely they can.
Who's doing the votes? Is that you, Berkey?
No, Matty's got those
Matty. Right, there we go.
He said
that's hospital hand pass.
Yes. I've given all the votes to the Bulldogs players, and purely what Berkey said, like, a lot of Giants have had big numbers. They've had 2 less possessions than the Bulldogs overall, but they didn't go anywhere with them. And that was credit to the Bulldogs, their pressure. So, look, I gave 3 to Libber purely based on what the Giants, what the Bulldogs need to be good at. They were. Their clearance stuff was amazing. He had 24 touches, 17 contested, 8 clearances, kick 1 goal, 1 tackles, his pressure. Although Dale, I gave him 2 votes. So they did set him up spare behind the ball, and the Giants allowed that to happen, but he was an architect with his kicking and his intercept marking, and able to get some rebounds, some inside 50s, and also hit the scoreboard. And I thought Richards, especially in that last quarter, he had a huge last quarter, but 2 goals, 1, 8 inside 50s, 4 tackles. I gave him 1 vote.
Great work, Matty Primus. For everyone else, for everyone who is listening in Victoria, South Australia, WA, Tas and the Northern Territory, you are about to leave us. As it stands, it was the Western Bulldogs 14-14, 98, defeating GWS 9-7-61. So that means there is only 1 spot to be decided still in the 8. I'm sending all of you over to Corbin Middlemass and the team for Carlton and St Kilda.